on a disk floating through space with a tiny sun.
Hey, I'm FTFE, welcome back to the channel that does to stupidity what a young, radicalized religious fanatic did to a government installation. And we're back for another Flat Earth debate. I hope everyone is having a good start to their weekend wherever you are on this fantastic rotating globe that we most definitely do live on. However, the person I will be talking to tonight thinks the opposite. I'm not going to put words in his mouth. You may have seen him before on MC Toon's channel. I don't want to mispronounce your surname. So Tony Naoum, is that right?
No, yeah, that's close enough.
Yeah, close enough. I'll take that as a win. I'll take that as a win. Yep, Tony is here tonight to defend the opposite position to what I hold. So let's let him introduce himself. Tony, say hello to everybody.
Hey, Craig, how are you? Hello, everyone. I love your intro. I honestly do.
Thank you.
Stop laughing. The stupidity is not a right, but the right to express stupidity exists there, doesn't it?
Yeah, yes, it does. But
Yeah, okay.
I reserve the right to poke and fun at that stupidity.
And I love how your debate is in inverted commas because there is no debate, right? It implies there is no debate. It's just a foregone conclusion. Is that right?
It's more about the way these things normally go than whether it's a legit debate or not.
Well, I always, and we've spoken a couple of times, Craig, and we're hopefully going to have a good chat, and just put forward some ideas and see how it goes from there. Hopefully, it doesn't deteriorate like it did with Michael Toon's debate where he started to mute me and didn't want to hear anything I had to say once he was owned. So hopefully if you, I'm going to put forward some of the same arguments that I did with him. But as an intro, I'm Tony, I'm from Sydney. I'm 47. For 45 years of my life, I was a staunch sphere earther, would defend it and laugh at flat earthers and give them all a hard time as much as the way it still happens today. I was a massive supporter of the space program. I don't think you, Michael, or anyone can actually say they were in Orlando at the final landing of the space shuttle, which I was. I was that much of a fanatic. I still love the space program until I started asking some questions, and questions that I was, by the end of a good couple of years of research, determined was a load of bullshit and disappointed me immensely. So I'm going to share some of that stuff with you. Not about the space program. I want to avoid all that because that's a big discussion itself, but just about the flat Earth, and I'll try to keep it simple.
Okay.
Is that okay for an intro, Craig?
Yeah, brilliant.
Keep going. Yeah, cool.
If obviously Tony did mention he debated MC Toon. I think those are up on MC Toon's channel if you want to see them. Hopefully we don't need to go down the muting route. Like you and I have discussed. You'd be decent to me, and I'll be much less of an asshole than I normally am.
You can be an arsehole. You can be an arsehole. See, so the thing is, I'm a devout Christian. The only thing I haven't mastered the turn the other cheek part. I haven't mastered that yet. So if you give me shit, expect it back. It's very simple.
I'm all good with that.
I'm going to be nice to you because as I said to you, we can have difference of opinions, shake hands, disagree, walk away and do it again, which I hope to do with Michael till he started carrying like a twat and playing with his Rubik's Cube. I mean, how rude can someone be when you invite them on your show and play with a Rubik's Cube? And the only reason I say it is because I know Michael's watching and I don't talk about people behind their back. So, I don't want that to deteriorate. But if you wanted to, I'm happy to engage. I'm not very good at turning the other cheek. That's what I'm saying, okay?
Let's see how it goes.
Let's see how it goes.
Yeah. What do you want to just start with presenting your case and
sure.
we just get into discussing it?
Sure. I'm going to keep it very simple because, look, I just want to do a little bit of history. I did have two debates on Michael Toon. The first one was with him directly. The two prominent topics were the tilt of the Earth. We spoke about sun parts at the start, which we'll hopefully touch on quickly. I'll send you some information, Craig, that you can put up for your viewers. Then we talked about how Michael couldn't quite understand the concept of actual height versus real height and how things appear smaller when you move away. That was most of the discussion on that one. On the second debate, he brought PhD Tony, which I really like. I respect PhD Tony. I hope you're watching, Anthony. We had a thoroughly good debate. You lost your shit at the end as well. Started calling me an effing idiot.
We call him Cracker Tony over these parts.
Sorry?
We call him Cracker Tony We call him Cracker Tony because he likes to explode.
You call him
Cracker Tony.
You call him Fat Tony.
No, Cracker Tony.
Fat Tony. Cracker Tony. All right, Cracker Tony. You know, I like Anthony, and I rang him and checked up on him a couple of times afterwards. He wasn't doing very well health-wise, but now he's fighting fit again. We had a really good discussion offline about gravity. Of course, I'm not going to change his mind. His life is dedicated to gravity. We agreed on a lot of things. We just didn't disagree. We just disagreed on the conclusion of its existence or not. Tony, if you're there, I'm happy for you to comment. But I really like Tony. He's a really good guy. And I'll talk to him anytime. And we have several times afterwards. That discussion was about, a lot of that discussion was about seismic measurements from earthquakes, which we had a differing opinion on. He presented some really good stuff, particularly parabolic mirroring, which in itself showed that there was an edge to the flat Earth, but he won't agree with that either. We had a really good discussion. But then when I started presenting my evidence, in fact, I asked, and I'll ask you to participate in my evidence as well, Craig, just to make sure everything's above board. When that happened, everything just went south and we had to end it. So on that note, with that bit of background, I have a lot of respect for Tony. I lost my respect for Michael Toon, but other than that, all is well. So let me start. Can we agree on one thing? Can we agree on the definition of science? Craig?
How would you define science?
Can you pick a definition that you're happy with and just read it to me? You can Google it. I'm happy to wait.
I mean, I don't really like to use Google or like definitions that are.
Hang on. When I say Google, don't refer to Google. Go to Khan Academy or go to a reputable source through Google.
I mean,
forget what Google says.
If you were to ask me to describe what science is, I would say science is a tool that helps us discern the natural world and the reality around us.
Beautiful.
That's. I mean, I don't like to
agree.
use a something that someone else has already said because you can be accused of quote mining.
Yeah,
so I like
fine.
to give it a description that fits my experience with science.
Yes, I agree with you. Now, how do we analyze that natural world? What are the two things we do? We
have to test it, and we have to make predictions.
Okay, so that's experimentation. Yep, beautiful. Yeah. What's the other thing?
Well, we have to. At what point are we talking about here? Because to get to the experiment part,
they're not trick questions, and I'm not trying to put you out. I'm just saying that we analyze the natural world through observation and testing.
Observation is a larger umbrella that goes into a lot of other things. But yes, I would describe it as ask a question based on an observation and find a way to test it.
Yeah. Spot on. See, flat earthers and sphere earthers can find common ground. It's not that hard, is it?
No, not always.
So yes, I totally agree. It's observation, experimentation. So there are maybe clips we'll share both ways that show the observation, because people tend to say, you've watched a few YouTube clips, now you're a flat earther. No, that's absolute nonsense. But where YouTube is really positive or useful is by showing an observation. By showing things and then saying, okay, now this is the science that supports it. Because the definition of science is exactly what you said, but the emphasis is through observation and experimentation. So we can't just have experiments and say this is what the natural world is doing, but it's not being observed. This is the point I'm trying to make. And I'm not setting you up for anything. I'm just saying let's just agree to what science is and the definition of it. The second part of that is I also believe that any science that's presented should adhere to the scientific method, stuff that's reproducible, and adheres to all the requirements of the scientific method. Putting forward experiments that are useless and don't make any sense is not in our best interest on both sides. So, would you like to have a little intro because I've just had 5 minutes? Maybe you can do something, and then I'll start.
Well, it's fine. I think it's best if you just get on to presenting your case. I mean, I agree with you about what science is and the way that we do things.
Great.
So,
okay, great. I'll just move on then. So let's look at the beliefs of a sphere earther. A sphere earther believes that the Earth obviously is a sphere or an oblate spheroid or pear-shaped. I guess depends if you want to listen to what Neil Tyson deGrasse is saying. One of those things, but in essence, you believe it's a sphere. You believe it spins, and you also believe that it has a tilt, right? 23-degree tilt. Mm-hmm. Would that be a fair statement? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and the fourth thing is you also believe that it rotates around a sun that's 93 million miles away. They're your four core beliefs, right?
Well, I wouldn't call them beliefs, but they are part of the heliocentric model, yes.
Beliefs. Well, that's a model, and they're your beliefs, right? So, okay, so let's test those beliefs against observation. One, where's the curvature? Have you ever seen curvature?
Seen effects of curvature. I've seen effects of curvature. I've seen effects.
No,
of
have you seen curvature? In all these weathers, these helium cameras that have been sent up now, weather balloons? Has anyone seen curvature?
Oh yes, absolutely, 100%.
Oh, really? Absolutely. Where?
My friend Mr. Sensible did it.
Okay, so you can go online now on YouTube anywhere and pick any high altitude helium camera or helium balloon or weather balloon, and you won't see any tilt. You won't see sphere, and you definitely won't see this curvature that's expected in the geometry.
I mean,
okay. But I'll challenge you to that. Your viewers can do that, and you can do that. And this is not an appeal to authority. It's just one of your thought leaders, Neil deGrasse Tyson, when he talked about that Red Bull jump. He actually said at 125,000 feet, you won't see any curvature. He himself said it. And I mean, you know, that's not an appeal to authority, but your own thought leader has said that, and that's at 125,000 feet. And, you know, the helium balloons or the weather balloons tend to go to maximum about that height. So I know I, for one, when I was still a sphere earther and starting to look into this, I couldn't find any reputable images or videos of curvature. So that's the first observation. Second observational. Do we actually feel the Earth spin? We don't feel that either. You'll say we do. You'll say that it exists. I'm just saying, remember, I'm just testing the observational arm of the scientific definition. We don't observe a spin. Do we feel the tilt? Do we observe a tilt? No, we don't, do we? I'm not saying it doesn't exist. That's your argument. But we don't actually feel it. Do we feel that the Earth is rotating around the sun? No, we don't. So basically what I've done in the intro of my in the argument is with the first limb of the scientific definition of observation, all four elements for a sphere Earth fail. So we don't observe any of them. And like I said, you can have your moment to put evidence forward, if you like, later on, where you do show a sphere or curvature, but you don't. We both agree you can't feel the spin, you can't feel its rotation, and you can't feel the tilt. So let's agree to those three anyway. So the first part is the observational phase. Now the second part, what do we believe? What do we believe? And I haven't presented any evidence yet, just this is all discussion about observation. We believe the Earth is flat. So if we're standing at sea level, or we have a look at any of the weather balloons, and any images that are sent from lower Earth orbit, the Earth is flat. It appears flat. Whether you want to agree or disagree or put forward your own information, that's up to you. But we don't observe it. We don't observe curvature. We see that it's flat. We feel the Earth is stationary. We can't feel it moving. We can't feel it rotating. We can't around the sun. We can't feel it spinning, and we definitely can't feel a tilt. So you can't say that the observational side or the definition of real science that the sphere satisfies any of those elements. Do we want to make any comment on that before we move on?
If we can focus on that bit and have a bit of back and forth on those things that you said, if you like.
Yeah, sure. Let's listen to that because later on we can talk about the scientific evidence and images and so forth supporting my case. But for now, I think we could talk about the observations that I've just put forward that don't exist for sphere Earth, but do for flat Earth. Yeah. Thanks for that, Craig.
Just to start with, I don't have a thought leader, and I don't think anybody on my side would say they have a thought leader. And also, Neil deGrasse Tyson gets stuff wrong, and he is wrong about the fact that stuff is flat, because you can see the curvature at that height. I am just downloading a video now that I will show. My friend Mr. Sensible sent up a probe, a weather balloon, got to 36, 37 kilometers, 30,000 kilometers, and it had 3 cameras on board, right? One that looked directly up at the balloon, that was fisheye, just for a pretty view of the balloon. One fisheye lens looking out just for the pretty view. But it had one non-fisheye rectilinear lens with control strings on the front to see where the straight parts were. And when it went up to the maximum height, it actually saw the curve that was predicted. There's a point in the video where he overlays it. There is actually quite a few online that do show a curve.
And they're fisheye lenses?
No, there's some that are non-fisheye. All the ones that are fisheye
wide lenses do show the curvature. There's no discussion. There's no disagreement.
Yeah, but the wide lenses can also show a concaver, which we know isn't a thing.
True.
True. We know that's not true. Why is this taking so long to download? Right, let me just bring it up this way instead. Bear with me.
Take your time, mate. It's Saturday here.
Right. So, let's get to the bit where he overlays.
But while you're doing that, I'm just sending you a picture that I want you to put up after this, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is Mr. Sensible and what he sent up, and you could see on that bit that was behind him there was the kind of the money shot of the curve. But there is a point in this video, and I totally forget where it is, where he overlays the curve on top of it. Yeah, carry on.
Not to be argumentative, Craig. That's a fisheye lens. Can you see how it's concaving and that's a fisheye lens.
This one here is not a fisheye lens. This is a rectilinear non-fisheye lens, and it's got these two lines that you see, the yellow and the blue lines, are strings that are on the front of the. I'll show you here. So this is the camera that's looking out, which is the fisheye lens. And it's got the strings that you see on there. As it goes up, these strings are in front of the camera, and they're straight. All right, you see them at the front here, right? So if they're straight, then what the camera is seeing is straight, and the fact that it's right in the middle would be the point of least distortion of any lens. So anything that's in the middle would be a pretty good representation of reality. If you look up at the top here on the left and the right, on the left is a fisheye lens looking up at the balloon, and on the right is a fisheye lens that the wide camera is there just for the view. But this main one is not a fisheye lens. It was chosen specifically because it isn't a fisheye lens. Okay, and
so fast forward till it goes up to a decent height.
Yeah. So let's get it. Oh, that's when he's picking it up afterwards.
Did it drop out of the sky?
It fell down pretty quick. There's a fantastic shot fantastic shot of it exploding. This is a point showing you as it's going up the balloon expanding. The shot that's looking up at the balloon
to the pressure equalizes.
Yeah, and there's a video which is the entire flight there and back. Right.
Look, there's heaps of these online. You know that, right?
Yeah, so this is
So you can compare these to some of the other ones that I'm referring to. Yeah. And just, like I said, I don't want to get into arguments to and fro about what you've seen versus what I've seen. But your viewers can do their own research.
If I could just get to my point here for this, the point is that Mr. Sensible went to great lengths to have controls in place to make sure that there could be no claims that this is a fisheye lens, that there's clearly a distortion there. And this is the point. This is the kind of the money shot, right? Because here you can clearly see that there is the curve of the Earth, and it might be on a different video that he put up, but there is a point where he actually overlays the predicted curve with a graph, and it matches it 100%. And there is quite a few other ones as well. I will, of course. Here we go. Here's the predicted versus what we see. So this is predicted for about 1 kilometer higher than he was. But as you can see, it's pretty damn matching what you predicted to see. So this was evidence that we can make a prediction and then make an observation that matches what we expect to see. So that I think that covers the weather balloon things, because we most certainly can find weather balloon footage that shows that the Earth has a curve.
Yeah, and you can also find just as many that show that it doesn't, right?
Well, I haven't seen any that are non-fisheye.
Afterwards, just make a note. Afterwards, I'll bombard you with a link of a whole bunch of them. Yeah.
That's cool. But like I said, I've seen lots. I've searched for, and all the ones that I've seen that are flat are actually fisheye lenses. There's no non-fisheye lens that show it being flat. So
you're saying the flat ones are fisheye lenses?
Yeah, they tend to be, because they're the wide angle view.
That's what a fisheye lens does. That's what a fisheye lens does.
So, and you know that they're fisheye lens. Of course it does, above and below the center point. If it was perfectly at the center, it would look flat. But above the center point, it would make it concave. Below the center point, it would make it convex, which is, you know, what we see with those videos. I personally haven't seen any flat Earth videos that are weather balloons showing flatness that are non-fisheye. That's just from my personal observations and research that I've done. But I'd like to move on to the Earth spinning part that you were talking about, if that's okay.
Hang on, just before you do, can you just bring up one of the images I just sent you?
Yeah, which one?
It's just the red ball jump that Neil deGrasse was referring to. I just want to show you.
Oh, yeah, you sent me that one there.
The attempts that they've gone to show curvature.
Right, okay, let me just
put it up. It's a very quick image. It shows.
What do you mean to show curvature? I don't think that they did the jump.
Just have a look at it. Bring it up and have a look at the photos released. The photo that was released, and then the photo and the actual weather satellite or weather balloon that shows it the same height, 125. Yeah, have a look. So that's what the Red Bull jump tried to show humans that the curvature of the Earth looked like. Right?
Okay. But I don't understand.
Feet. That's what you actually. Sorry.
I never understand the point of showing like this jump, because nothing about the Red Bull jump was set up to show curvature or not. So and we know that it was a fisheye lens and it wasn't level with the horizon or anything. So it's kind of I agree that's distort. I agree that's an exaggeration of the curve. No one would deny that. I don't think. Interestingly, that bottom one is a crop.
Because you referred to Neil Tyson being wrong, and I was just showing you this is what he was referring to.
Yeah, but interestingly, that bottom picture there is actually a crop of a picture where you can see the curve.
Yeah. No, it's not. No, it's not. I'll send you the links. I'll send you about 4 links.
I'll send you the link to the. I'll send you the link to the. Yes, cool. I'll send you the link that's got the full picture that shows.
No problem. We can disagree on that. We can disagree on that. That's fine. Again, we're having a discussion about my view versus yours, right? So I stand by the belief that through my research, haven't been able to find a curve. The other thing that I spoke a lot about in one of the debates was how the horizon is always at eye level, which you could see in the camera there. Because if you we do want to move on, but I do want to discuss this point because it's very important. If you look at the altitude that camera was at, I think it was at the top right corner, and you measure the distance to the horizon from that height, you should get a hidden height. It'll give you a hidden height. So that'll give you an estimation of
not with those cameras, no, because none of those cameras were set up level or anything. There's pictures showing the cameras like they're pointing down, they're pointing up. That there's nothing about any of those cameras that you could get kind of accurate measurements from. But we know that the horizon doesn't always rise to eye level. That's completely false.
That's a discussion that again we didn't agree on in the past. If you look at any of the formulas that refer, I know I've seen all this. If you look at the formulas, the actual mathematical formulas for distance to the horizon, one of the variables is always eye height. Okay, so wherever you are, whatever your height is, whether you're on the top, whether you're on the top of a lighthouse or whether you're on the seashore, you have to put in 6 feet or 70 feet, depending where you are, and that will give you the distance to the horizon, because it always virtually rises. It's one thing that people don't realize.
I mean, if there's no atmosphere, of course. Right. Okay. We're kind of drifting off on. We're drifting off onto other.
I can't hear you, Craig. So I don't know if you're talking or not.
Yeah, sorry. We're kind of drifting off onto other subjects. I really wanted to cover the spinning stuff before we bring up new things.
But we are talking about the first part, curvature. So we actually are on topic.
Okay.
We are on topic. So, that's a whole entirely different discussion about the horizon line. But the horizon line is the point where your lines of vision converge. That's all it is. And the higher you are, the further it is. That's why it has everything to do with eye height. And if there was curvature, then you would expect to see the Earth dip away the higher you go. But you don't. It just continues to be a horizon, a straight line. That's why it's called a horizon. It's horizontal.
So what would be...
And that continues to rise to eye level.
On a flat Earth, on a flat plane, what would the formula be to calculate the distance to the horizon?
There's 3 of them, and I'm happy to write them down and send them to you. One's the Pythagoras' theorem, which is basically you use it on a sphere Earth, but you cut out a triangle of the actual of the sphere. So you can still use. And how would you use a squared plus b squared equals c squared to calculate the distance to the horizon on a flat Earth? I can send you that. I've got the link to all of those. There's 3 different methods. I don't have it on me now, but is it okay if I send it to you? and
Yeah,
your viewers can look over it. There's three methods. There's three methods. So if you there's a trigonometry method, geometry method, and there's the Pythagorean method. And I'll send you the three, and you can have a look at it. I just like, you know, you can put it into any calculator and what it'll always ask for your eye height. Any calculator online will ask for your eye height, no matter what method you use. Okay, but I'm happy to send that to you in a link. Is that okay?
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. We can obviously you don't have that on you right now.
And look, that could be a discussion. That could be something we touch on in another debate, right?
Basically, yeah. And just out of interest, do you know how to, for instance, the formula for perspective? So how to calculate how big something is based on how far away it is? Would you know how to do that?
Are you talking about angular size?
Yeah. Do you know the formula to calculate angular size?
I don't know the formula. I don't know the formula off by heart, my friend. I don't. But you can use an online calculator to do it, and you can have a look at the formula behind that. But we can talk about perspective later. I'm happy to do that if you like.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm very happy to talk about angular size. There's no problem there. But we'll stick to the topic if you want. Yeah. If you want to move on, because you said you wanted to move on.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to talk about the Earth spinning.
Yeah. Sure.
Right. So your main point, correct me if I'm wrong, was that we don't feel the Earth spin.
Yeah.
Is that right? That's
we don't
a fair...
observe it. We don't observe it. Remember, we're talking about the first.
Oh no,
first to live.
No, you didn't say observe. You said feel. You said we don't feel the Earth spin. That's what you said, right?
Feeling something, seeing something, it's an observation.
Well, I would disagree that we can't observe it spinning. But you specifically said that we do not feel the Earth spin, right? And I want to focus on that.
You don't feel or observe. You don't feel or see.
All right. Well, let's focus on the feel part. Why would we feel the Earth spinning?
Okay. Have you heard of centripetal force?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're a physicist. You're a physicist, right?
Well, I've got a degree in physics. I wouldn't call myself a physicist.
Great.
I know what centripetal and centrifugal forces are. Yes.
Okay. Wonderful. Now, if you were to go online, just to make it, I keep saying online, just to save you time, and we're not doing endless amounts of mathematics, right? If you go online and you look up centripetal force calculator, it'll ask you for the radius, so the distance, the distance. Say, let's say about the rotation of the Earth and the Sun, as an example, right? You'll ask you from the radius, from the sun to the center of the Earth. You'll ask for tangential velocity, which is 1,000 miles an hour. I know you don't like referring to the speed of 66,000 miles per hour. You don't like referring to angular velocity in the form of miles per hour. I know that.
Yeah,
it's called tangential velocity. It'll ask for that. It'll ask for the mass, and then it will give you a centripetal force. If you look at, if we do the calculations on the spin of the Earth, right, on the spin of the Earth, and we look at the centripetal force from the center of the sphere to the edge of the Earth, it gives you a centripetal force of, I think it was like 370 newtons or something. You can do this online.
That's incorrect.
Actually. So say that again.
That's incorrect.
Yeah. Okay, so why don't you do it while we talk then?
Yeah. So what you're looking for is what we're looking for is the centrifugal force.
And the question. Let me answer it, Craig.
Okay.
Let me answer it, my friend. Yeah. So when you calculate the centripetal force at the surface of the Earth, you get I can't remember if it was the rotation around the Sun. It's because it was some months ago. If you do the one, I think, around the Sun, you get a Newton force of something like, I think it was 370 newtons, which is what the centripetal force would be on the surface of the Earth at 66,000 miles an hour. You can do this online and see if I've got it right or wrong. That means divide by your gravity, if gravity exists, anything that has a mass of 37 kilos or less would get thrown off the Earth.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you're talking... I'm pretty sure you're talking about centrifugal force, not centripetal force, aren't you?
No. Okay. Yeah, no. You're a physicist. Centrifugal force is a fictitious force.
Yeah. But what you're talking about, the flinging off, that would be centrifugal, not centripetal.
Okay,
centripetal is the force that pulls inwards. Okay. Centrifugal is the acceleration outwards. And when you do the math for the centrifugal acceleration at the equator, which is where it would be the highest, what you find is it's 0.0002% of the gravitational acceleration downwards. It's practically nothing. In fact,
Let's go back.
the difference is 0.05% between the equator and the poles, because obviously at the poles you wouldn't have any centrifugal acceleration.
Yeah.
So
I've heard this
there's
argument.
and in
let me
fact
just-
you can actually measure a difference in weight of things based on where they are. For instance, if you were to mine a kilogram of gold at the poles and take it to the equator, it would weigh more at the equator than it does. It would weigh less at the equator than it does at the poles because of the increased centrifugal acceleration, which is why you have to calibrate scales locally. So the centrifugal acceleration is minuscule. It's practically nothing, and it's not anything that we would notice.
There's a fair bit. Yeah, there's a fair bit to unpack in there. So would you like me just to respond to that?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Let's be very clear on the physics of this. Centrifugal force is considered a fictitious force. It's an apparent force. So, and it's okay. It's the force you feel as a consequence of centripetal. Does that make sense yet?
Yes, it's what I refer. It's what's referred to as an emergent force. You know, you can measure the centrifugal acceleration based on the centripetal force. Fictitious.
If you measure centripetal, that's what that's what the centrifugal force is. So
well, it's not what it is. It's a result of.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's a result of. It's an apparent force due to centripetal force. That's why the discussion should be on centripetal. But it doesn't matter if you want to use the word centrifugal. That's fine because that's the feeling you feel that when you.
That's the thing that's flinging you away. Yes, is centrifugal acceleration.
Correct. But it's okay. I don't want to label the point, but it's a response to the centripetal force.
Yes, yeah, but
you with me? Gotcha.
We know it's a response to the centripetal force, but that's kind of relevant because it's a force we can still measure.
It's not relevant.
We know it is if you're trying to talk about which force is the thing that you are feeling and experiencing, and there's no denying that at the equator you would be experiencing 0.003 meters per second squared of centrifugal acceleration. That's
not correct.
No, that's the exact maths, actually.
That's not the exact maths because you can go online and do it.
No, it literally is the exact.
Put the mass of the Earth in, put the radius in.
Would you like to do it now?
Tangential speed in, and you can do it. You can do it now. But I just wanted to make it clear to the viewers that when you talk about centripetal and centrifugal, it's the same thing. But the measurement is centripetal force. The apparent field is centrifugal force. Yeah. Please go ahead and do that because I've already done that, and I've gotten a different result.
So I've done it many times, and I can guarantee you that it's 0.3.
Go ahead. Now while you're doing that, let me talk to your audience about the other claim you made about the difference in someone's mass on the equator versus the poles.
Yeah.
Do you know what that mass is? If you were measuring a human weight, you know what the mass is?
About 0.05% difference.
Correct. Do you know what that is?
It's a difference
I don't mean to be.
It's a combination of the difference of gravitational acceleration because you're closer to the center of the Earth at the poles, and the
let me tell you why. Let me tell you why that's a ridiculous claim to make or scientific claim to make. Do you know how? And I'm not being rude about this. I'm just being honest. If you were to take a pee, if you were to urinate, that would be the difference in weight.
But it's measurable
between the two poles. Right, it is terrible, isn't it? Terrible thing to say, but it's the
measurable,
truth.
yeah.
So how can you reach any scientific conclusion about the difference between the poles and the equator based on whether that person or whatever it is might have urinated between the two different
because you don't have to use a person. You can use a metal.
No, but that's it's an example. It's to give the viewers an idea on the difference. You know, and there are other reasons that you can argue that too. Many other hypotheses that you can argue.
Okay, so
bring up the calculation that you did.
Yeah, I'm just this calculation.
While you're doing that, I'll just talk to you about that. An object that's in orbit is always in acceleration, right? Always, you know that, right?
Everything's in acceleration.
Yeah, anything in orbit is always in acceleration. So if you've got a mass, which is the Earth, and you've got it in constant acceleration, whether it's the spin or whether it's the rotation around the sun, what's an acceleration and a mass give you?
A force.
A force. You're going to feel something. Whether you like it or not, you're going to feel something. And you've got a spin at 1,000 miles an hour, and I'm going to keep using tangential velocity because it's just easier. 1,000 miles an hour, and then you've got the Earth rotating around the sun at 66,000 miles an hour. By the way, is it miles or kilometers in the UK? It's kilometers, isn't it?
No, we use miles.
Okay, miles, okay. It's kilometers here, so I have to make the conversion in my head. 66,000 miles an hour, and then you got the rotation of 1,000, and we're expected not to feel anything.
Well, no,
let's just apply
it's
some
constant.
logic to it, because both of them are in constant acceleration, remember? Both of them we have mass. Okay.
So here is the calculations for the centrifugal force that you would expect to feel. A mass of 1g, radius 3.95 miles, tangential velocity 1,040 because we're at the equator. Angular velocity 0.0006968.
Why do you use the gram?
No, that's 1g.
But firstly,
one g is one Earth weight. That's what that stands for there.
Okay. So firstly,
one gram, yeah.
We were talking about the rotation around the sun, which was a lot more. But let's have a look at that.
We've been talking about the centrifugal acceleration at the equator. That's what we're supposed to be doing here.
Okay. Okay, good. All right. Yeah, that's fine. So what I'm referring to is the rotation around the sun. Remember I said I wasn't sure which one because it was some months ago. So if you put the mass of the Earth, you put the radius so its distance from the sun, you put it 66,000 miles, then you get a force of around 390 newtons, if I remember.
Okay. What's the gravitational acceleration that the sun creates on the Earth?
I don't believe in gravity at all.
Well, but it's got to be part of the discussion.
At all. No, but I don't. Let's leave gravity for the next discussion.
Well, no, because if we're talking about forces, we have to talk about all the forces involved. And if we're talking about centrifugal acceleration going outwards, we have to talk about what's pulling the other way, which would be gravity. That's what's causing the centrifugal acceleration.
You can't rely on a fictitious force to make it. It's a circular argument.
It's an emergent force. It is very real.
Force. That you can't say gravity exists.
That's not how it works. Gravity is a measurable acceleration.
No, it's not. But
absolutely
that's a different
is.
Discussion. No, it's not. It doesn't exist.
No, it's been measured, so it really does exist.
No, it hasn't been measured.
It absolutely has. It really, really has.
No, it hasn't. It hasn't.
You can't just say it hasn't when I did it myself in my first year of physics.
Yeah, but it's nonsense.
Well, you say it's nonsense, but science disagrees with it.
Let me tell you why. I don't want to go off the topic, but let me tell you why. There's a study which I can send you, which they've written articles. In fact, Michael Toon's first debate, my little photo clip for the debate was one of the articles that says scientists embarrassingly still do not know how strong gravity is. And you're saying you do.
Yeah, no, everyone. Would you like me to read a response? Would you like me to read a response from the actual author?
I'm sorry, Craig. I don't know if I'm talking over you because it keeps dropping out of these earphones.
Right.
I apologize if I am.
Yeah, just want to say that the author of that article was actually contacted. Would you like to hear what he said?
No. I don't care about the author of the article. I'm going to.
Well, you have to, otherwise you're committing. If you're quoting that article, you have to take into account what the article author is saying. Otherwise, you're committing the fallacy of stolen concept.
No. Okay, that's fine. You can talk about him, but then I'll talk about the actual real study in the behind the scenes. Go ahead. Tell me what he said.
So he said, well, the amount that we're uncertain about the strength of gravity is at about the 0.05% level. So unless there's a forthcoming argument that this one part in 2,000 uncertainty somehow means the whole thing is wrong, there isn't anything about this set of measurements that implies any uncertainness about gravity's existence or universality. That is a direct quote from the author of that article, saying that the article doesn't actually say that we do not know about gravity's existence or its universality. Yes, compared to other fundamental forces, we don't have the same accuracy of measurements, but that doesn't mean we haven't measured it, because we most certainly have. And again, I did it myself. Yeah,
and did you measure it within that error of 0.055, did you?
Yeah, actually, I got pretty damn close.
Okay, so let me now explain to you. Do you know how that 9.8 is derived?
Yes, I do. It's an acceleration.
How?
It's 9.8 meters per second squared. What do you mean? In, how do you find out?
How was it derived? From what value was it derived? We're really going off topic.
It's a measurement.
How was it derived?
It's a measurement.
How was it derived?
They measured it.
How was that 9.8 derived?
They measured it. It's an acceleration. Yes, an acceleration. They measured it.
No, they didn't. It came from the what they call the little g. It came from the Cavendish g, right? They used that to derive 9.8. Do you agree or disagree?
I disagree.
I
can
No,
measure 9.8 meters per second squared in an experiment I did in high school. It's simply something
excellent.
that is measured.
That's excellent. Firstly, let's get to that in a minute. Do you agree or disagree that it came from the Cavendish?
I disagree that the measurement of 9.8 meters per second squared came from the Cavendish experiment. The Cavendish experiment was not about measuring an acceleration. The Cavendish experiment was about weighing the Earth.
No, it wasn't. I can send you.
Yes, it was.
I can send you the link. I can send you the article.
Yeah. The actual Cavendish experiment was about measuring the weight of the Earth. That's what it was for.
Great. Now, did it come up with a constant? A gravitational constant?
No, they already knew the constant. It was an experimental verification of the constant.
No, it didn't. The constant came from the Cavendish experiment.
No, it was part of experimentally verifying it. The constant was actually derived from works of Kepler.
Okay, look, what I'm going to say, you don't have to take my word for it because it's not my opinion. I'll send you the article, the scientific article that shows the Cavendish has never been replicated. So that value.
Excuse me, I replicated it.
Yeah, you can replicate the experiment, but not the constant. You're not
listening to
me, Craig.
I did it. I did that.
They've tried to for 200 Gs and 350 attempts.
And they get it right. It becomes more and more accurate all the time. I did it myself. Every first-year physics student in the world does it as part of like their first 3 months at university.
Okay, wonderful. All right, I'm just going to send you an article while we talk because none of this is my opinion. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here, but I'm telling you, I did it myself, and in fact, I can send. Yeah, I absolutely did, and so did my friend BM Furble, who built his own Cavendish experiment.
You replicated the experiment, or you replicated the constant itself?
I calculated the constant based on the experiment that I did.
Okay, cool. Let me show you something. So you know all about the scientific method, right?
Yes. Which version are we talking about?
Beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to send. I want to send you something.
Which version of the scientific method are you talking about?
I'm talking about replication and how it has a replication crisis. I'm going to send it to you now while we're talking.
Okay, but that's not the scientific method, though. When you mean the scientific method,
it is. Absolutely it is.
What specific?
Yes,
hold on. Which scientific method for which particular industry are you talking about?
There's only one scientific method.
No, there's not.
I'm not talking about the mental health one. I'm talking about the actual things that require an experiment to adhere to the method.
Oh, you're talking about like the high school basic version of the scientific method, yeah?
No, not at all. Not at all. Don't start condescending bullshit.
No, I'm not condescending, but I guess that's what you're talking about.
Okay. Open the article. Let's discuss. Since we've gone on this topic, I've just sent you an article. Put it on the screen.
Yeah, I'm just bringing it up.
Thank you very much.
The curious case of the gravitational constant.
Read it. Just bring it up.
I'm pretty sure I've already read this one before.
Excellent. So you'll be informed about that.
Oh, that's the wrong screen. So, more than 200 years after it's first measured, the fundamental property of the universe continues to confound. So it talks about scientist Henry Cavendish worried about the effect of mountains on the measurements. Yeah, we all know that.
That's not what I sent you.
This is the link that you sent me.
That's not the link I sent you, no.
I literally just clicked on the link you sent me, and this is where it took me.
That's the link. Look, unless it's a different different format. Is that what came up on your screen?
Yeah, that's the link there.
Okay,
I click it. And
okay, great. Just looks different on my computer. That's all.
So
have a look at that while I send you something else. Read that.
Such an analysis of Cavendish standard path performing first. Yeah. It's because the majority of physical constants are known with extreme precision, often 9 out of 10 or even 12 digits, but D stops at 5. Yeah, we know that. Worse, many measurements disagree with one another. Yeah, but it's more and more accurate now. They used to disagree, that's right.
It's not. If you read the full article, it's not. I'm not being argumentative for the sake of it. I'm just telling you that even in 1992, with some of the latest technology, it even grew further apart.
So far, it doesn't say anything about no one measuring G.
I'm going to send you some information on that.
Disagreements between what it was. Yeah, there absolutely is, but it's done with more and more and more accuracy all the time.
But yeah, all the time. But in 200 years and 350 attempts, they haven't been able to get the same thing. Look. No, the speed of light is calculated to 0.00001%. Like it's extremely accurate and easy to do. It's.
But none of this says that we haven't measured it, though.
Have a look. No, I didn't say that. I said it has a replication crisis, and the point I'm trying to make is,
but it is
deriving gravity.
When it's replicated nowadays, we get it to within 0.05% all the time. It's very.
But that's still not accurate.
It's one part in 2,000. That's pretty accurate.
No, but it's not. One part in a million is accurate, like the other constants.
So it's hold on. That is accurate, but it's just more accurate than 1 in 2,000. 1 in 2,000 is still pretty damn accurate. Different pressure, extra dimensional distortions, having no theory, experiments are often
I'm just sending you something that's a quick dirty.
Oh, actually, it says specifically in here that we don't have a noticeable variation of G. Nowhere in this article at all does it say that we haven't been able to replicate G. Nowhere.
Hang on, just go back to the first. Scroll up to the first comment that you wrote. First sentence. Just the first sentence. Read it to me.
More than 200 years after it's first measured, this fundamental property of radius continues to confound. Yes.
Do you know what that means?
It means that there's still questions they have about it.
Correct. Now, the point I was trying to make initially, I just sent you something. Just open it. It's just a quick little formula.
Do you have any scientific citations about the level of accuracy that's needed to be classed as accurate?
Yeah. All you need to do is just open that. It's just very quick. It's just to show you what I was saying before, so your viewers know that I'm not making shit up. If to derive your 9.8, they use little g, the big G. So that big G. Just bring that up. Sorry.
Hold on. I'm just trying to get the actual image to download. Oh, probably shouldn't be sharing your details on the screen.
That's all right. Nothing to hide.
Which one is? Oh, it's this here. Okay, let's bring this up.
Just the one I just sent you,
G equals GM over R squared, where M is the mass of the Earth, R is the radius of the Earth.
This is the formula I was talking about.
Yeah,
this was the formula I was talking about. So you use the Cavendish gravitational constant, which is the big G, mass of the Earth versus the radius times divided by the radius squared. That's where you get your 9.8. Now, the point
that is a way of doing it, but you can also simply measure it with a. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. You can literally measure it with a folding pencil on a bit of paper.
No, you can't. Let me tell you.
Yes, you can. You absolutely seriously, everyone does that at high school, right? You get a ticker that taps.
You know,
really,
I went to high school, right? I went to high school.
Right. Well, then you should have done this experiment, right? Let me explain the experiment quickly because it's pretty damn simple, right? You get a strip of paper, right? And it runs through a ticker that's got a pencil in that's going at a constant rate, okay? And you wrap one end of it in a pencil. And you measure the distance, right? And you drop that pencil. And as it pulls the paper through that ticker, right? What you do is you get a bigger and bigger distance between the dots. And using that distance between the dots and the distance that is falling, you can calculate the 9.8 meters per second squared that is accelerated towards the ground. It's simple.
Okay, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm telling you, you can't. And I'll tell you why you can't. Because the principle that Galileo came up with, which he actually didn't, was that objects fall at the same rate in free fall. Okay? Now, free fall means in a state of vacuum. Do we disagree or agree on that?
Free fall doesn't mean in a state of vacuum.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Free fall means in a state of vacuum. Look it up. You've got a physics degree.
You got a citation for that?
Free fall mean. Just look it up. Look up what free fall means. Look it up, buddy. I'm not being a smart ass. I'm just telling you, look it up.
Downward movement under the force of gravity only.
Yeah, only, correct. So that means
all right,
there is no air resistant. Okay,
all right,
can we agree on that?
Yeah, we'll take that. Okay, fair enough.
Okay, buddy. Okay, I'm not being argumentative. I'm not being a smart ass. I'm just equating the science to you. So therefore, and they went to all this trouble at the NASA vacuum chamber to get rid of all the air so they could measure this feather and ball falling at 9.8 meters per second. Now you're telling me that you and I did it at high school.
Yeah.
And the other reason is this.
I did it at high school.
Let's shelve that.
I know for a fact I did it at high school. I just literally described to you the experiment that we did it with.
Right, and it's not in free fall, so you can't measure 9.8 unless it's in free fall.
You get roughly 9.8 meters per second squared because there's practically no air resistance.
Okay, roughly. Okay,
In fact,
roughly, let's go with roughly.
I managed to calculate 9.86 meters per second squared.
That's
That's what I
brilliant.
got.
But that's brilliant.
And most
That's
of the people in
brilliant.
the class did the same.
Okay, so let me go back. Let me go back a second. I showed you that formula for a reason. The reason I showed you that was gravity. Before you've measured it, comes to 9.8 meters, 9.81 meters per second squared, because it came from the Cavendish G. I showed you the formula, right?
Yeah.
You agree with the formula? Okay.
Yeah.
Just come with me, Craig. We're having turns talking. So
okay, well,
that's
let me just quickly ask you a question about that 9.8 meters per second squared. You do know that it varies where you based where you are on Earth, right?
That's your principle that you believe.
No, it's a thing that's been measured.
Yeah. Well, at sea level, that's a constant of 9.81.
No, it's
not. That's the principle, right?
It's not. On Earth, there is variations at sea level for the gravitational acceleration. At the poles,
is it not the strongest at sea level?
No, it would be stronger. It would be stronger underground. But at sea level, around the world, there are variations in the gravitational acceleration. The gravitational acceleration at the equator is actually less than the gravitational acceleration at the poles because of the centrifugal acceleration acting in the opposite direction.
Yeah, and I believed all that. I believed all that too.
I mean, no,
everything you're saying, Craig.
Whether you believe it or not is irrelevant. It's things that have been measured several times. Actually, when they were
this is a debate.
When they were trying to actually, when France were trying to find out, get the perfect measurement for a kilogram, they took it to different parts of the Earth to make sure that it would show this the measurement that you would expect based on where it was on the Earth. And yes, you absolutely do have a different gravitational acceleration based on where you are on Earth. At the poles, it's stronger than it is at the equator. That's just a fact. It's been measured.
It's not a fact. Let me put this hypothesis to you. It may sound ridiculous, but let me just put it to you. If you took an object and weighed it, you weighed it in on the equator, and then you took it to the poles, right? What's the temperature difference between the two places?
Quite a lot.
Okay, so let's just say the equator's 32 degrees Celsius. It's a hot day. They weigh it on something. Does heat rise or not?
It's not going to change the mass of the body that's being weighed.
How do you know that? How do you know that? If there's a heat rising underneath an object, is it not going to make it slightly lighter?
No, heat radiates off of it. Heat radiates off of it. That doesn't mean that it gets lighter.
If heat's rising from below it, say it's a hot day, right? This is just a silly hypothesis, but one that we can explore as scientists, right? It's a hot day, temperature.
It's been done in vacuums.
Therefore, the object is. I'm sorry, say that again.
It's been done in vacuums.
Okay, great. Okay, so can we just move on? Can we go back to the formula for a second?
Which one? The G equals GM over R squared.
The G formula. Yeah. And we can talk about equatorial differences. Okay, so the point I was trying to make was this, my friend. The formula I showed you has the Cavendish constant, right? Times the mass, and then it's divided by the radius of the Earth squared. That gives you the 9.8. Now, the question I had for you was, if in that experiment, or in that meta-analysis where it said in 200 years, 350 attempts, there hasn't been the same one. They've been close, right? But not the same. Which one was used to give you 9.8 or 9.81 or 9.82? Which of those 200 values was used?
It's updated all the time. Okay, so the value is updated all the time as we get more accurate measurements.
Okay, great. So that's why I have an issue when you say I measured it and I measured it accurately because we don't know it. I didn't make that scientific paper up to argue with you. We weren't even going to talk about it.
I can measure it. I quite accurately measure it to 3 decimal places. That's pretty accurate for what we need. So and the fact that gravitational acceleration can be quite accurately measured is a very important thing.
I'm okay. Since we're talking about gravity, let's explore it. I'm trying to find, so I'm not being rude by looking at my phone. I'm just trying to find a clip for you, which I can't now because I've got so many clips. But okay, so let me show you what this experiment was. And I showed it to Michael Toon, I think, and PhD Tony. If I showed it to PhD Tony, it should be here. What it was they had raised the crane to the level of the Tower of Pisa. Yep. And they had dropped a soccer ball and a cannonball or a bowling ball. So both had the same surface area, both the same CDA, same drag coefficient because of the shape, only different masses, right? So it equalizes air resistance. Are you with me so far? I'll show you the clip in a minute. Are you with me so far? Same cross section, same drag coefficient, only different masses. Which ball hit the ground first?
Well, just in the air.
Which ball hit? They dropped them both from the Tower of Pisa height. Which one hit the ground first?
Oh, the bowling ball would, that because the Magnus effect would be much more prevalent on the football than the bowling ball.
The what effect, sorry?
The Magnus effect.
To which is what? Explain that to me.
It's a acceleration that is put on something on a rotating object when it's falling through air, and there's a differentiation in pressure between the bottom and the front of it. It's why, for instance, you can throw a ball off of a dam, and instead of falling straight down, it kind of spins away because you get a higher pressure created underneath. The lower mass of the football would create a much bigger difference in pressure, meaning that the Magnus effect would be much more prevalent on the football than it would on the bowling ball.
All right, so let's put this in simple terms for the viewers. Right, you have the same cross section, you have the same drag coefficient, so they're both susceptible to the same air resistance. Yeah.
Not entirely true, because the Magnus effect takes that into account.
Where the difference is whether or not one reaches terminal velocity versus the other. Okay, that's the fundamental difference. So I did the mathematical calculations on this drop. Neither of them remotely came close to 9.8 meters a second. Well, I think the bowling ball was 6.5 meters per second, and the soccer ball was about 4.5 meters per second, and the soccer ball hits terminal velocity about 2 seconds before it hits the ground, whereas the cannonball doesn't. So there's no measurement. You did
the maths, but you did the maths based on could you explain the maths to me?
Based on the height and the time it was to hit the ground. That's all you need.
Okay.
Distance and height, you get acceleration. Yeah.
Right. Where was this done?
And then I worked out the drag required for terminal velocity to be reached. The soccer ball hits terminal velocity, but the initial acceleration, you can see the cannonball is much faster in its acceleration. So the argument is, no, you can't measure gravity, because that's a perfect instance where we had distance and time and coefficients. The coefficient was the same, cross-sectional area was the same. So look, these are just scientific experiments that I want to flag with you. But I'm not saying that you're a liar and you didn't.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, everybody kind of does that at high school, as far as I know. In fact, my son's doing that now. That's the kind of stuff he's doing at school right now, and it's a very easy thing to calculate. I'd love to see those videos and see the calculations.
Yeah, hang on one second.
I mean, you're not including friction due to wind and things like that.
Well, that's air resistance. That's air resistance. The two forces are.
Wind will affect the thing with less mass more than the thing with more mass.
It'll reach terminal velocity before, yes.
Yeah, but it's also wind is going to cause friction on the ball more than it is on the bowling ball.
Remember, I just told you the drag coefficient's the same, and cross-sectional area is the same.
That doesn't change the fact that the friction would actually affect the thing with less mass more, because there's less force acting against it.
Say that again.
So the thing with less mass will be affected by the friction due to air more, because there is less of a force acting in the opposite direction.
Let's call it what it is. It's called drag. Let's call it what it is.
Drag's one of the things.
No, there's only drag and the acceleration due to the object, the mass of the object. They're the only two things acting on it. You can go to a NASA site and have a look at that if you like.
So there wouldn't be wind
forces acting on a falling object. Go and find out.
Yeah, that's simplification due to modeling. But I mean, are you taking into account
I'm really sorry,
wind and things like that?
Rude. I'm trying to find this clip for you.
Okay.
Craig, I'm sorry, I'm not being rude. I'm trying to find this clip for you.
I understand what you're saying, but again, you're not taking into account the fact that the ball, the football, will be affected by the wind and the friction more than the bowling ball, because it has less mass, therefore less of a gravitational acceleration, so less of a force acting upon it to counter the friction. Well, there absolutely is. You can say that. You'd be wrong.
There's a gravitational acceleration, then the terminal velocity calculations wouldn't work. It's very simple. Look,
terminal velocity calculations require gravity.
Aristotle said the following. Aristotle's principle said the following: objects fall at a rate proportionate to their mass, which is what we've agreed to. Heavier an object, the faster it falls, right? And it hits the ground quicker.
No.
Yes.
Not in a vacuum.
And it's been tested scientifically. Well, okay, we can get to a vacuum in a minute, because we can debunk vacuums in a minute.
If you're taking, you're ignoring some of the variables, Tony. You're ignoring friction due to air resistance, which is going to be more. The friction due to air resistance is going to be more on the football than it is the bowling ball. That's just a fact of physics.
No, let me just explain it once again, Craig. Let's be amicable. Let's not get into an argument over it. The drag coefficient is the same because of the shape. Do we agree or disagree? The mass of the football is less. Therefore, we haven't got to mass yet. The shape of the ball.
Yeah, I'm talking about the friction due to air and wind, right? Not just the drag coefficient, okay? And if you have to talk about all forces that are involved. And you can't just say gravity isn't real, so I'm going to ignore it, because it's something we have to take into account for the calculations.
What are the forces?
Right? So
what are the forces?
Gravity would be one of the forces. Friction due to air resistance.
Gravity is not a force.
We can absolutely calculate it as a force. It's an emergent force.
It's not a force.
It's an emergent force.
Even if it exists, it's not a force.
There is the force of gravity, which is a cause of the acceleration, okay? For colloquial usage, we refer to it as a force, okay? So you have to take into account the force... No, hold on. Let me finish. Let me finish, okay? You have to take into account the force due to gravity, the drag coefficient, the friction due to wind, the mass, and everything that's creating the opposite force to the drag and the friction due to wind and air resistance. If there is less of a force acting in one direction, there will be more of a force acting in the other direction for the air friction to do what it does. So less mass means more friction applied, so less acceleration. It's one of the forces you have to take into account. Gravity is part of that calculation. Okay?
Totally fine. I'm just staying quiet so you can finish.
Yeah, I'm done.
I'm being a good boy.
Yeah.
I'm being a good boy. I'm letting you finish. When you tell me you're done, I'll talk.
Okay, so all right, let me ask you this question. How do you calculate?
No. I'll respond to you once you're finished.
Well, I already said I was done.
Okay, great. So now what happens is this. None of this is my opinion. You can go and search and ask your viewers to search what are the forces acting on a falling object. Those who believe in gravity will say, okay, gravity downwards, drag upwards. That's it. You can talk about friction, wind, all of that is calculated into drag. Okay? All of it's calculated into drag. Do you want to disagree with me on that and then have your viewers go and look it up themselves?
Okay,
or do you want to at least agree with me?
No, you're not doing the maths correctly, Tony. I'm sorry.
No, hang on a second. Why don't you bring up the formula of drag? I'm happy to go through it.
We need to talk about forces that are involved, okay? Let's talk about let's right. So we've got.
But you've had your say. You've had your say. Can't I have my say?
Yeah, I'm responding to what you've just said. All right, you've got a bowling ball. Between the bowling ball and the soccer ball, which has got more mass?
The bowling ball's got more mass. The
bowling ball's got more mass. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. Yeah.
How do you calculate the force?
You know the word you're looking for? The word you're looking for, which doesn't apply here, is called inertia. You're saying an object with more mass has more inertia, blah, blah, blah. It's not the case, but go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Ignore Newton, but that's fine. So bowling ball has more mass than the football. So to calculate the force equals mass times acceleration, right? So the downward force on the bowling ball, because it has more mass, will be higher than the soccer ball. Then you subtract the same force pushing up from the wind, meaning that there is less overall force acting downwards on the soccer ball. Simples.
Okay, can I give you my simple version and the one that's founded in science?
Well, what I just said is very much founded in science.
No, it's not. Let me explain to you. You can bring up the formula of drag if you like, so you can back up what I'm saying. Okay, the variables in drag are surface area and drag coefficient and mass of the object. You can have a look at all this up. You can bring it up. Would you like me to bring it up for you?
No, I'm not ignoring what you're saying. It's correct, but that's just some of the variables.
But you believe in gravity, so let's just go with that for a minute.
I don't
Downward
believe I
force is due
know
to
it's a
gravity.
thing.
It's due to gravity. Downward force, can we agree to that?
Yeah.
Okay. Upward force is called drag. Right?
No, the upward force isn't
Upward
called
force,
drag.
the force opposing the object, air resistance, is called drag.
Air resistance is
And that
called
includes-
drag.
Yeah. And the drag coefficient includes friction, surface area of the object also applies friction that is expected on the surface area. Do you agree or disagree? You can look it up. You can look it up while you do that. I'm not just saying this to be argumentative. I was a staunch supporter of gravity.
Okay. So by definition, air resistance describes the forces that are in opposition to the relative motion of an object as it passes through the air.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Okay. So forces
I just want to
acting
make sure
opposite of thrust.
I just want to make sure that you're happy with
Right.
with the forces we're discussing.
Right. Yeah. So
you've got the surface area, you've got the density of the air, yeah.
Okay.
You've got the velocity, yeah. And you've got
Okay,
the drag
so,
coefficient. These are the things that calculate
what
drag.
about the buoyant force? Have you taken that into account? Have you taken into account?
Buoyancy is part of drag on the surface area of the object. That's all it is.
No, buoyancy isn't part of the drag.
If you have a look at a formula, it's calculating the density of the air. Density of the air is one of the variables, okay?
Buoyancy isn't
all
density.
I'm saying is just... I'm sorry?
But buoyancy isn't
I'm sorry?
density.
Density is a function of buoyancy. The denser air is the more buoyancy
Density is one of the variables in the buoyancy equation.
The denser a fluid is, the more buoyancy it has. But we're disagreeing on that as well. Basic Archimedes principle.
Yeah, but I'm saying that...
density column experiment.
But to calculate buoyancy, density is just one of the variables, right?
Yeah, but we're not talking about that. You're right.
But we need to know the
buoyant
buoyant
nothing to do
forces.
with buoyancy. You just said
Of course it
density
does.
has nothing to do with buoyancy.
I didn't say it has nothing
so
to do with buoyancy.
I misheard you.
didn't
I'm
say
sorry.
that, no.
I misheard you. What did you say?
I said density is just one of the variables in the buoyancy equation.
Correct. We agree on that. So let's go back. The two forces, you're saying gravity and drag. Drag, the form of
And
drag
buoyancy
encompasses all that
and,
stuff. Now,
like,
I've
wind.
just said to you, two balls were dropped at the same location. So same density, same shape, which means same drag.
They did not have the same density, no.
The air density, my friend.
The air density, yes.
The drop was,
yes.
Yeah, great. Are we on the same page? So density is the same, one of the variables. Okay? Velocity is depending on the acceleration. You with me? And then you've got the surface area, which is exactly the same. They were both same size balls, which is CD in the formula. And then you've got A, which is the coefficient. But the drag coefficient of a sphere object is about 0.1 or 0.2. It's a standard constant. It's a standard number. So we've got exact same as air resistance for both objects, okay? And they both fall at different rates.
All right. So,
you with me?
Yeah.
So Aristotle said, and it was proven in quantum physics that objects fall at a rate proportion to their mass.
Are we agreeing that there's a specific upward force due to drag?
That's called drag.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And are we saying
absolutely.
that this? Are we saying that the same force is acting on both the balls, right?
Due to the shape and the drag coefficient.
Okay. Right.
The only variable is the only variable between the two is the velocity that they reach before they reach terminal velocity. That's part of the formula. You can have a look at it.
Okay. Right. So just to clarify, both the balls have exactly the same upward force acting on them from drag, right? We both have the same, right?
Correct.
Okay.
The difference is this. Yeah, let me finish this sentence because we're on the same path.
Yeah.
The only difference is this. The lighter object, is there something I'm using over there?
No.
Okay. The lighter object will reach terminal velocity, but the cannonball doesn't, or the bowling ball doesn't. I will find that clip and I will send it to you. I just don't want to be rude and go off on my phone now. You'll see that one accelerates extremely fast and then the soccer ball actually hits terminal velocity. That's the fundamental difference in the mass difference. Okay. There's no 9.8 measured on either.
So
none of them have 9.8.
Talking about that specific experiment, we've agreed that there is a specific upward force due to drag, the same acting on both the balls. Okay. However, we know that there is.
Let's equalize.
Wait. Hold on. Yep. We know that there is a different force acting on them going downwards, right? There is less of a force on the soccer ball than there is on the bowling ball, right?
Yeah, hold it right there. Let me make a comment and then continue. I absolutely say that it is, and I agree with you, and that's due to the difference in mass. And the principle
absolutely, right?
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if there is less of a force acting on the soccer ball than there is the bowling ball going downwards, but there is the same force acting on both of them going upwards, that explains why the soccer ball didn't reach the same velocity and acceleration as the bowling ball, matching the predictions of gravity.
No, incorrect.
We just agreed to that. We literally just agreed to that.
That's the only time you and I diverge. Let's go back now and let me finish the sentence you just said. There's no force. What's a force? A force is mass times acceleration, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, the mass of the object, they're two different masses, right?
Yeah.
Right? And the acceleration, due to a principle by Aristotle, the acceleration, the F equals ma, is due to its mass. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's a different concept to the one of gravity. Objects fall at a rate proportionate to their mass. Aristotle.
Because of gravity, yes.
No, not because of gravity. Because of the mass itself.
Yeah, and
there. Go out to their balcony now.
So what force is moving that mass?
My friend, okay, there's no force. Let me just explain.
But you just said force equals mass times acceleration. So to move a mass,
the force is from the object itself. Objects fall at a rate proportionate to their mass.
Yeah, but due to what force?
How quick they fall.
Due to what force, though?
Okay, stop for a second. It's hard for this is one of the issues I had when I first looked at it. Gravity is not a force, so stop calling it a force. It's an acceleration.
There's the force of gravity. The force is created by gravity. Yeah.
Craig, let me have a say, please.
Yeah. I'm just making sure you don't strawman what I'm saying for gravity. But to be clear,
I'm just giving you basic physics.
I understand basic physics, trust me. And to be clear, when I say the force of gravity, I mean the force created by gravity. I don't mean that gravity is a force. I mean it creates a force. Okay. It's an emergent force.
Wonderful. Now, wonderful. Now we're on the same path. The force created by gravity is m times g, right?
Is m times g.
Times g. Wait.
Yes.
The mass of the object times gravity times 9.8. That's your force, right?
Times the gravitational acceleration of 9.8 meters per second squared. Yes.
Great. Which is g. Now, what I'm saying, based on Aristotle's principle, is it's not m times g. It's m times a. Acceleration, and that acceleration is determined by the mass of the object.
And what force?
Fall at a rate proportionate to their mass.
Okay, and what force?
Aristotle came up with. The force of the object is the mass times its acceleration. So
yeah, but
the mass of the cannonball.
What force? Force is something that has to be applied constantly.
No.
Oh, yes.
You're referring to Newton's law. You're referring to Newton's law on an object that's on a plane. The object on a plane is isn't in movement unless acted on by an external force.
That's for a constant velocity, not an acceleration. For an acceleration, there has to be a constant application of force. That's a basic fundamental principle of physics.
Right, on a plane. Now let's talk about a falling object. Okay, you're saying it's m times g. I'm not disagreeing. You can use your gravity. I'm telling you that it's m times a. And as Aristotle,
g, they're interchangeable.
Quantum physics. Hang on a second. I will send you the references to this if you like. The acceleration is due to the mass of the object. Try to understand that. When you drop the cannonball, the soccer ball, they accelerate at different rates, not because of the difference in air resistance. They both have the same susceptibility to the air resistance until it comes to terminal velocity. The mass itself determines the acceleration.
Yeah, but where's the force coming from?
I've made up.
But where does the force come from? The force, there has to be.
The force comes from the mass.
Wait, but hold on though. Hold on, listen. It can't just be the mass because an acceleration requires a constant application of force. By what mechanism is the mass producing a force?
Okay, this is I don't think you're understanding what I'm saying.
I am understanding. You're saying that the mass itself causes the force, but there has. Wait.
We agree gravity's not a force. We've agreed gravity's not a force.
It creates a force. Gravity creates a force. That's my position.
Right. Okay. Great. We agree to that. The G, which is 9.8, times the mass of the cannonball gives you its force, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Now, I'm telling you that because I don't believe gravity exists, because the research shows it doesn't, instead of putting in G, just put in A.
Yeah, right? But that A is an acceleration due to gravity, so...
No, it's not. Okay, this is the concept that people find hard to grasp. This is going to fall faster than my iPod case. Okay, not because of gravity. Okay?
Probably not over that
you can
distance.
argue that the shape's a little bit different, but this mass, the mass of this is going to determine that it accelerates faster than this.
Because there's a force applied. Yes. The more mass, the more force.
Gravity's not a force. It's just M equals A. It's F equals MA or F equals MG if you believe in gravity.
So where does that force come from? There has to be a mechanism that applies the force. That is a fundamental principle of not just physics but engineering.
Yeah. Okay. Let me
Otherwise, I could literally just stick a fucking rock in in an engine and it power it because it would just be applying a force. That's not how things work. You need a method. You need a mechanism. Wait. Hold on. You need a mechanism for the force to be applied. An actual mechanism. You need a descriptive mechanism, something that could be tested. And something having a mass doesn't just automatically give it a force. You can calculate what the force is.
On a falling object, yes, it does.
You can calculate what the force is based on its mass and its acceleration. However, that doesn't mean that you have to wave away the explanation of where that force comes from. There has to be a mechanism for that force to be applied to the mass for the acceleration to happen.
Okay, I'm listening to you.
No, I'm done. You need to describe what that mechanism is.
We're just going around in circles. I've provided the principle, and the principle is Aristotle came up with objects fall at a rate proportionate to their mass. That rate of acceleration is due to the mass of the object, not some external acceleration in the atmosphere. That's the fundamental difference. That's what we're not going to agree on.
Yeah, okay. But the problem is you don't have a reason. You don't have a reason for the force to be applied. I do.
But gravity's not a force.
It creates a force.
You keep talking about this gravity. Yeah, but
gravity creates a force.
From an object.
Gravity creates a force.
This object drops at a rate proportional to its mass.
Because of a force being applied to it, yes.
Proportional to its mass.
Because of a force being applied to it, yes.
Because
of a force being applied.
Gravity's not a force.
F equals ma. F equals ma. It creates a force. Tony, stop strawmanning. Please stop strawmanning me. I'm not saying gravity. You keep saying that I'm saying gravity is a force. I'm not. Gravity creates a force. No, I didn't. I said gravity creates a force. Okay, creates. Okay. Gravity isn't a force. Gravity creates a force. Okay.
Yes. And so because it's an acceleration, right?
Because it's an emergent force, because there is an acceleration. Yeah. But the acceleration has to have a reason for it to happen, and that's the same thing. Gravity is an acceleration that causes an emergent force. You realize that these are the same thing, right?
We're not going to agree on it, so we can keep going around in circles, right? I'm giving you the principle of Aristotle as proven by this. I'm just sending you a piece of paper. Do you mind opening it?
Yeah. Okay.
Study. Thank you. Thanks very much.
And then we can go to the thing is though we can go to all the other experiments that then demonstrate that there is an attractive force, not just up and down, like Cavendish to Hellion, and then we can go to the Pound-Repka experiments. We can go to the LIGO experiments, the Enton experiment in 1919. There is so much. There is so much science that follows the scientific method that verifies that gravity is a thing.
Yeah. All due respect, I haven't even begun demolishing gravity. I'm not. I
doubt you could. It's one of my specialties.
What are you talking about? Archimedes' principle, the density column, the periodic table. Those three things alone demolish gravity.
No, they don't.
Nothing to do with me. None of this is my opinion. We can have that discussion next time. How about that?
Okay, that's fine. But we can shake on it. Yeah.
You're not going to like the outcome.
No, Tony, what you don't realize is I've seen all this before and I've heard all these arguments before.
But you haven't heard it from me before.
Yeah, but I've heard exactly the same thing.
Cheer up. Put that smile back on your face. So, it hasn't been that bad.
It's been pretty bad for you, but anyway.
No,
guys, make sure you have voted. One sec, Tony. One sec, Tony. One sec, Tony. One sec. Guys, make sure you have voted on my poll that's up. It's a very, very important question. It's a scientific question that needs answering. So if you are, there's like 550 of you watching, make sure you have voted on the poll that is up there. Right, so Tony,
So, okay, just bring up this this study I just sent you, if you don't mind. Just so I could tell you where I'm coming from.
I thought we were going to talk about that next time.
No, just have a look at it. Just so that your viewers don't think I'm a blow ass and I'm making this up as I go.
Well, what I do, I'll put a link to it in the chat so they can go and look at it themselves. Okay.
Look what that is. It's a quantum physics study that proves Aristotle was right. Objects fall at a rate proportionate to their mass. Okay, so
cool.
It's not something that I just made up. Okay, but let's move on. Do you want to move on? The original topic?
Yeah. So we were talking about rotation. Okay.
Sure.
Now, so there's no reason.
And how it's not observed.
Well, it is observed. I observe it every time I look at the sky.
It's not observed.
I observe. I observe it every time I look at the sky, and I can show you a video of it being observed right now. We've had satellites that go.
Rotations?
Yeah, but I can also show you the Earth rotating from space.
Oh, that's nonsense. But okay, go ahead. You can show me star rotations.
I could show you star rotations, or I could show you the Earth rotating from space.
No,
both of them have been observed.
Don't insult my intelligence by showing me fake clips. At least you show me star rotations.
I'm sorry. I'm not accepting you just going they're fake. If they're observations, then they're observations.
They are fake.
Can you prove they're fake? Can you prove they're fake?
We haven't been outside of lower orbit since the Apollo program. Do you know that as a fact or not?
Doesn't mean satellites haven't been. Doesn't mean satellites haven't been.
Yes, they have. Yes, they have. Okay, you tell me how a satellite is held up without air, without any buoyancy. Use Newton's third law.
Tangential velocity.
Tangential velocity?
Yes.
What's it floating on, though? What's it floating on?
It's not floating. It's not floating on anything. It's in free fall towards the Earth.
What's keeping it buoyant? What's keeping it buoyant?
The fact that it is missing the Earth because it's going so fast. Tony, do you not know what an orbit is? Right, Tony, right. Have a thought experiment with me here, okay? Right?
Okay, brother. Only because I like you, go ahead.
Let's just assume that the Earth's a globe, okay? Right, for this thought experiment, right?
Sure.
Okay?
Which I did for 45 years.
And you've got a baseball, right? All right, and you throw that baseball forward as hard as you can, right? What path is that baseball going to take?
It's going to keep going, and then it's eventually going to hit the ground when it runs out of
it's going to be an arc, isn't it? It's going to go forward in an arc.
Sure. Well,
right?
Depends if you throw it at 45 degrees or you throw it straight, right?
So you're throwing it straight forward, right? As straight as you can. It's going to go in an arc.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Got it.
Now,
got it.
Imagine that you could throw that baseball hard enough so that arc matched the arc of the curve of the Earth. All right. Now imagine that there's no air, like you're in space. There would be nothing to stop you constantly going round because there's no air resistance to slow you down. The gravity is keeping you in the orbit because that is making you in free fall towards the planet. But because you've got a fast enough tangential velocity, you miss the Earth and keep going round. And that's what an orbit is.
Sure. Okay. So can you just explain to me again the speed of the ISS? So I have to laugh when people quote this number. Do you know how fast the ISS is going?
Yeah, 17,000 miles an hour, and it's been measured by someone I know personally who used to work for this channel. It's been measured. It's been measured independently, so I don't need to believe it.
That's an appeal to authority. I mean, you can think for yourself. You're a smart guy.
Sorry, no. It's not an appeal to authority. It's not an appeal to authority. It's someone that I know personally who performed an experiment and measured the speed of the ISS.
So those clips where the astronaut is outside. I can't even bring myself to say it. He's outside fixing the ISS. Mm-hmm. He's outside, and you can see there's no harness. He's just standing there. They're connected to some oxygen tube, and he's working on this thing at, what was it, 17,000 miles an hour?
What do you expect to happen?
Well, you at least expect the Earth behind it to be moving. Like it's so pathetic.
You can see it traveling around the Earth. The Earth is clearly kind of rotating underneath it. Yes.
So are you saying you won't feel any air resistance at all?
There's no air in space
because there's no air up there.
Yeah.
So once again, you're arguing that it's staying up not because there's any buoyant air underneath it. It's because it's spinning that fast. And you honestly believe that argument? That's
what a tangential velocity means. Again, I don't need to believe it. It's been measured by someone I know personally. He actually worked for the.
Told that.
No.
You've been told that.
I haven't been told it. He did it. He showed me the raw data when he actually measured the distance. What he did was him and someone else measured not only the speed of the ISS, but the distance to the ISS and the size of the ISS. They measured it independently themselves.
So now tell me, because I definitely don't want to sound like a denialist to your audience. So now you tell me this. Apply Newton's third law. Tell me how a rocket or a ship or whatever the hell you want to call the ISS can reach velocities like that without air to push against.
Why would it need air to push against?
I'm going to send you a professor's lecture about this. Let me write that down. Professor on propulsion in space and how space travel is bullshit. And why is it bullshit? Because when you fire off your rocket, let me tell you something. Try not to laugh and become an asshole like Michael.
No, I'm sorry, but this is a classic one.
I'm respectful to your bullshit.
I'm sorry, but Tony, this is a classic one that I've explained so many times.
Stop. I don't care whether you've explained it. I'll send you a professor's explanation on how it's impossible to propel a rocket in space without air.
Guess the professor didn't know what he was talking about then.
Well, I'll show you. He's a professor of aviation. I'll show you what he said.
He's wrong.
None of this is my opinion, bud. I'll send you the link. You can have a look at it. Now, if you're going to fire a rocket, now first let's assume in order for combustion to occur, they've got oxygen on board, and they've got the propellant on board. Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay. Because you need the two for the rocket to fire up, because there's no oxygen up there. So they've got both of them. They propel. What are you propelling against?
The rocket.
What are you propelling against?
Right.
What's
will you
propelling against the propeller forward?
Will you permit me a few minutes to explain?
Of course.
Okay. This is pretty simple.
Great. And I'll send you that link from the professor's lecture. I'll do that afterwards.
Okay. So let's say
we're going a long way off track, right?
Let's say this is the rocket. Okay. This is the exhaust, right? You've got your oxygen, your oxidizer here, and your fuel here. Okay. They're both injected into the combustion chamber. Now,
beautiful. I agree with all of that.
Okay. When it mixes, it explodes. Okay. It explodes.
Yes.
Boom. Yes. Right. And what that does is force exhaust out there. Okay. Now,
perfect.
Because you have a force acting in that way, according to Newton, you also have a force acting this way. However, there's nothing here for it to escape. So this side of the combustion chamber has a force acting against it, meaning it shoots off. Because you have one force going that way. No, it doesn't. It doesn't, because you have one force pushing that way, all the stuff going out, which means there is an equal and opposite force acting on the inside of the combustion chamber, making it move. You do not need something to push against. That is not how rockets work.
Okay, I'll send you the professor's lecture. How's that?
You can send me the professor's lecture all you want, because he is wrong.
Okay, well, he's a professor.
Yeah, I mean, every professor of rocketry in the world disagrees with him.
You heard it from someone, and I heard it from a professor, so we can both use the same thing.
And there's experiments to show that combustion and thrust can happen in the vacuum chamber. It's quite easy. You can do it with actually a vacuum chamber and a can of soda.
Okay, so you still need it to push against something, which you're not acknowledging.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
What is pushed against is the inside of the combustion chamber.
Yeah, no, I like that.
Force acting that way. Force acting that way. Boom, off it goes.
I like that. And what's going on the other side of that wall?
Other side of what wall? Other side of this wall?
I'm being a smart ass, Craig. I'm just being funny, Craig.
Just the inside of the combustion chamber.
I know. I'm just being funny. All right.
Force that way. Force that way. Boom, off it goes.
Okay. All right. So the ISS moves at 17,000 miles an hour. And that's fine. Well, let's just work with that, okay?
Yeah, again, that's been measured.
The argument? Yeah. Want to continue the argument? So,
we were talking about rotation, and we went way off track.
Yeah, but it's good. It's all interesting stuff. It's just getting late there, isn't it?
It's 1:30 in the morning. It's fine. Pardon me.
Okay.
So, how do we know the Earth rotates? Well, let's make some observations, right? My observations. I've travelled the world as a sailor in the Royal Navy, right? And my observations of the world around me and the way that the stars move based on where you are gave me the hypothesis that we are on a rotating globe, and that can be tested quite easily, right? So we've got an observation. The observation of the sky is moving. Right. Okay, that's the observation. But my hypothesis from that is the reason the sky is moving is because we're on a rotating globe. So how do we test that? We do science, so we have to test it. So we make predictions, right? We make predictions based on the hypothesis so that we can test. Now, if the Earth is a rotating globe that's rotating at 15.04 degrees per hour, and it has the radius and everything that we say that it does, then certain effects should happen. Okay? Certain physical effects we should expect to happen. One physical effect that we should expect to happen is that if there is a freely swinging pendulum, that pendulum should drift a different amount based on its latitude, because it would have a different force applied to it. All right? So you can do some simple maths and see, well, if I'm at X latitude and I create a massive pendulum and let it swing for X amount of time, then based on the maths of the rotating globe, it should drift off of its straight line path X amount. Luckily for me, that experiment has been done by somebody called the gentleman physicist. Okay? So this guy is called the gentleman physicist, and he created a massive swinging pendulum in his in a local high-rise building. Okay? And he let it swing for, I think it was about 45 minutes. As you can see, as it's swinging backwards and forwards on its straight line path, it travels through this ink and leaves a trace of where it's going. So the time it takes the pendulum to make a full rotation is t equals 24 hours over the sine of the latitude. So you can do a simple bit of maths and calculate what you should see. So what happens is they leave it for as long as they can. I think it went for about 45 minutes. And then they measured the angle that it created. The first thing they noticed was that it turned clockwise, which matched the prediction of them being in the northern hemisphere. Okay, that's the first prediction that is matches the hypothesis. So the next thing they do is they measure the angle that it's created, and they measured 7.89 degrees over a time of 0.688 hours, which is about 47 minutes, I think. So you can then do the simple maths of the latitude over the time over the latitude, the sine of the latitude, and you can calculate your latitude on Earth. You should calculate what your latitude should be. So to calculate the latitude, you take the arc sine times 24 hours divided by 31.4 hours, which would be for the full amount of swing. And then using the data that they've got, they calculated that their latitude on Earth was 49.8 degrees. And you know what? They got it really close, within, I think, about 1.4 degrees, which is, so yeah, an error of 1.4 degrees, which I think for the very basic equipment that they've got there, that's a pretty good thing. Now, that would confirm the hypothesis that we're on a rotating globe of 15.0 degrees for 15.04 degrees per hour with the radius that we say, because it matches reality. And it matches the prediction. So you analyze the data from that, and you find out that it actually verifies what your hypothesis is. It wouldn't verify your null hypothesis at all in any way. So this shows that we know that the Earth is rotating because we can measure physical effects that we expect to happen. So how do you feel about that?
So we were talking about observations, right?
Yeah.
Not experimentation. We haven't even reached experimentation yet.
I went through my observations. I did all that.
So you went through the observation, but I was talking to you about the observation of feeling stuff. I haven't even gone to my scientific data yet.
Yeah, well, my observation isn't feeling something because you shouldn't. The physics says that you shouldn't feel anything. So my observation. My observation was the specific way that the stars move in the sky based on where you are in the world. That was my observation. All right.
Okay, the stars, right? Okay, let's talk about the stars then. Can we go back and talk about the stars?
Wait, we're talking about my process here, and that was my observation. Yeah. Can you deny that that's my observation? That I saw the stars.
I haven't read the study, so I can't comment about it.
Like I said, I told you what my observation was. Based on where I was in the world, the stars moved in specific ways that to me would suggest that we were on a rotating globe. So my personal observation is the movement of the stars from wherever I was on the world. That is my observation. And from my observation, I form a hypothesis. My hypothesis is that we are on a rotating globe.
We're still on observations.
No, I've done the observation. My observation was the stars.
Let me talk about it. Sure. Can I speak now or not?
Yeah, But you know the next step is to form a hypothesis, right?
No. Stop for a second. Let me just. I'll make my own argument. You're in the northern hemisphere, right? Which way does the Earth spin?
From east to west. No, from west to east, sorry.
So which way do the northern hemisphere stars spin?
Clockwise.
And which way do the southern hemisphere stars spin?
Counterclockwise.
Why?
Because we're on a globe, and that's what you expect.
So the hemispheres spin in different directions, do they?
Well, no, but you're going to be facing a different way based on if you're on the top or the bottom,
That's
aren't you?
nonsense.
Because it's a sphere.
Nonsense. Nighttime is nighttime. We're spinning one way on the Earth. Why is it in the northern hemisphere it's spinning with us and the southern hemisphere spinning the other way?
Because of the way that you're looking.
To disprove your rotation. Go ahead.
Because of the way that you're looking. If you're looking from the bottom.
Right.
If you're on a sphere, right, and you're on the top of it, looking up at the stars, then from that position they're going to be clockwise. But if you're on the bottom of the same sphere that is rotating in the same way, looking that way, from that position, the stars down here are going to appear to be counterclockwise. That's what you expect to see.
No, they're not. Not if you're spinning the right way. We're all spinning the same direction. So I'm
but it's based on your position of where you're looking.
Japan, north of the equator. Hang on a second. You've had your say. Let me have mine. You're south of the equator and north of the equator. It's night time in both countries, right?
Yes.
Right. So just look up and your stars are going one direction. The guy who's south of the equator, the stars are going the opposite direction. You're literally a few thousand miles apart from one another on either side of the equator, and they're spinning in the different directions. Explain that to me, how that explains the Earth is spinning in one direction.
Because one of you is above the equator looking slightly up, one of you is down below the equator looking slightly down. So from your perspective of where you are, the stars will rotate in the opposite directions. That's what you expect.
Ridiculous that sounds?
Doesn't sound ridiculous because that's what physics says should happen.
No, that's what the rhetoric says.
I mean, the apparent star tracks are, in fact, not due to the star's movement, but to the rotational motion of the Earth. As the Earth rotates with an axis, is pointed in the direction of the North Star, stars appear to move from east to west in the sky. Yeah. However, they also appear to move from east to west in the sky if you're in the south. But because you are looking in a different direction from your perspective, it appears to go counterclockwise. You're missing mine.
No, hang on a second. If I'm 100 kilometers north of the equator and yours 100 kilometers south of the equator, we're looking at the same night sky. 100 rotating in different directions.
100 miles, you're not really going. You're going to see that.
No. You should.
Because still one of you is like that, and one of you is like that. One of you is facing a different direction. I'm answering your question, Tony. I'm answering your question. You asked me a question, and I'm answering it.
My statement.
You just did.
I haven't finished, mate. I let you talk for 20 minutes then.
And you completely ignored my entire experiment.
Because it's an experiment. We were still talking about observation.
Yeah, and my observation, based on everywhere I am in the world, suggests that we're on a rotating globe. I can look at.
Let me try this differently because I don't want to keep disagreeing and going around in circles. Let's go to the rotation now, right, around the sun. And it's the same topic, it's the stars, right? Now, okay, do you mind if we do that? Because we're just going to keep going around in circles and it's running late. So,
I wanted to talk about my hypothesis. It doesn't matter what you say.
I reject it.
It doesn't matter if you reject it. It doesn't matter if you reject it because it's testable, right? And I tested it. That's what we need to talk about. Science says that... Science says that anything can be your hypothesis. You can make your hypothesis anything you want as long as it is testable. So, whether you reject it or not, my hypothesis based on my observation is that the Earth is a rotating globe. Then there's a prediction and an experiment.
Your hypothesis is based on a belief.
My hypothesis can be whatever I want. It doesn't matter if it's based on a belief. It doesn't matter if it's based on a belief. It can be whatever it wants.
You can't observe the Earth spinning or tilting or rotating around the sun.
My observations say that it does rotate. That's my observations. But the thing is, regardless of what your observations are, regardless of what, let me finish. Regardless of what your observations are, it doesn't matter. Your hypothesis can be whatever you want, even if it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Let me remind you that we agreed at the start. Science is the study, instruction, behavior of the physical and natural world through observation and experiment. You've gone to experimentation that don't support observation.
No. You've missed hypothesis. You've missed hypothesis.
That's part of experimentation. You
No,
observe
it's not.
something, or you make
Your hypothesis can be whatever you want it to be. Literally anything you want it to be.
Right?
Yeah. And based on my observation,
Okay.
my hypothesis is that the Earth is
that's fine.
rotating.
Okay, that's fine. Let's move on for a second because we don't have much time. I haven't even put any of my evidence on. So this is what happened last time with Toon. The moment I got to my evidence, it all went south. I haven't even gotten to it yet. Let me just talk about stars, okay? Okay. So let's go from spin to rotation around the sun.
Wait, so we're ignoring my entire presentation then?
No, I'm just telling you that what you're saying is nonsense.
well, then you need to explain the results. You need to explain the results then.
Before you even get to those results, you're saying the Earth spins due to the stars. That was your claim. I said to you, explain why stars rotate in different directions.
And I answered you.
In one way.
And I answered you. It's not my fault you didn't understand it.
I do understand it. It's just nonsense.
Right, well, let me try explain it. Let me try explain it to you again.
No. Let me have a say. This is what you few Earthers do. The moment I want to talk, you talk over me.
Well, you clearly don't understand the entire point. Thing is, you've ignored my experiment. You've ignored my experiment, and you're trying to move away. Well, that's not how science works. That's not how science works. Science doesn't care if you think it's bullshit.
Actually, what I did say was I haven't seen the experiment.
I just showed you it. I just showed you the experiment.
That's not how you analyze a scientific experiment.
What do you mean it's not how you analyze? I showed you the entire experiment, including the methodology.
You look at the baselines. You look at that's nonsense. That's not how you present a study. So I'm happy to look at it.
I showed you a scientific experiment.
Yeah, but that's not, we're talking about observation. We haven't even got to experiments yet.
We've done observation. I've done observation. That was the first thing I did.
I've just said to you, explain the rotations of the stars.
Okay, right. I'll explain. I'll explain it then. Let me explain the rotation of the stars. The Earth rotates from west to east, so the stars appear to move across the sky from east to west, like the sun. That's the same in both hemispheres. However, whether the star's motion is seen as clockwise or counterclockwise depends on which hemisphere you are in. It even depends on whether you are looking north or south. It depends on the observer in a similar way to the directions left and right. Let's start by imagining looking at the Earth from above the North Pole. The Earth's rotation would be seen as counterclockwise. However, viewed from above the South Pole, the rotation would appear to be clockwise. Therefore, if you are in the Northern Hemisphere and look towards the equator, to the south, you will see the stars slowly move in arcs across the sky in a clockwise direction, looking towards the equator again. But in the Southern Hemisphere looking north, you will see the stars move in a counterclockwise direction. If you're in the Northern Hemisphere facing north, you would see the stars rotate around the North Pole of the sky, close to the star Polaris. The direction of the star's rotation would now appear counterclockwise. Stars below Polaris would move to your right, and stars above Polaris would move to your left. The rotation would be clockwise when looking at the South Pole of the sky in the Southern Hemisphere. Does that explain?
I know the rhetoric.
Well, then why don't you understand it?
I do understand it. I don't agree with it. It's scientifically unfound. Let me explain. Have you seen star trails filmed from the equator?
Yes.
Okay, so
I'm gonna bring up a model. I'm gonna bring up a model.
Okay, Craig. Again, I can't talk. Just let me say something.
Yeah, I'm just saying that I'm bringing up a model, just so you know.
Okay, so you're on the equator. The stars across the equator just go straight across you, right? And the ones, if you look up, you see them going that way. You look down, you see them going the other way.
Yeah.
How is that a different perspective? How is that a different perspective on an Earth rotating in the same direction?
Because it depends on which way you're looking. It literally depends. Because it literally depends on which way you're looking.
It's the same person on the equator who's filmed it, north and south.
Yeah, and if you're looking that way, it rotates one way. You're looking that way, it rotates the other way. It's what you expect to see.
Looking straight out at the night sky.
Yeah. So if you're looking,
but let me go to another point. Let me go to another point that's going to debunk you whenever you're ready, though, because I think you want to keep harping on this one. It's ridiculous. If it's not non-scientific, it's non-logical.
Okay.
You're looking out the same night sky, you're rotating in different directions, and you're telling me the Earth is rotating in one direction. It's nonsensical. It's nonsensical. But look, while you're looking at your model, let me explain something else that debunks your model. Every single night, so 300, in fact, you know the Australian flag, right? It's got the Union Jack, and it's got the Southern Cross on it, right?
It's got the Union. It's got the Union flag, yeah.
Sorry, buddy. What was that?
I was saying yes. It's got the Union flag.
Yeah, it's got the Union Jack, or Union flag on it, and it's got the Southern Cross, which is the constellation Crux. Do you mind bringing up one of those? You're working on something else now, but I wanted you to bring up that celestial map that I sent you. Do you remember the celestial map I sent you?
Yeah. Well, 1 second. I'm just trying to get this up. Why is it not showing?
Sure. Can we agree to just disagree on the star thing because we're just going to go around in circles. On
Well,
that.
I was going to literally show you it on a map,
It's getting late,
on a model.
I haven't even put my evidence on.
All right, if you don't want to see the model that actually physically debunks you, that's fine.
No, it doesn't physically. Nothing debunks me, but you know.
I mean, I've literally got a model that physically debunks you.
No, you haven't. But anyway,
Well, I really do.
Can I continue to debunk you now or not?
So you want to debunk me, but I'm not allowed to debunk you.
But Craig, I just gave you 30 minutes on your story, and I just shut my mouth.
Yeah, and then you completely ignored it.
Yeah, because I haven't read the study, mate.
It's not a study. It's an experiment. Okay. So, so here we go. This is what you see looking north.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go to a different place. How do I get out of this view?
And if you want to know the real explanation of why that occurs, I'm happy to show you an explanation on YouTube that explains it perfectly with graphics on why stars rotate in different directions on a flat Earth.
So, right, let's look at this. Okay, the Earth's rotating. Okay, and we're looking at the North Pole here. Okay, you see it's rotating counterclockwise. Okay, you see that? But if we go to the bottom and we look, even though it's spinning the same way, it's now appears to be going clockwise. Yeah, you see that?
Do that again. Do that again.
Right. So we're looking at the South Pole, and it appears to be going.
Well, this light is moving to the left, right?
Yeah, but we're just looking at.
Let's call that the stars. Let's call that the stars. The light's moving to the. Now,
hold on, Tony. Hold on, Tony. We're looking at the Earth here.
Tony, just flip back to the north for a second. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I just want to agree that if we're looking at the South Pole here, as the Earth's rotating, it appears to be rotating clockwise. Yes.
The Earth rotates according to the rhetoric in one direction. Yep, I agree.
Yeah. So this. Yeah, but looking at the South Pole here, it appears to be rotating clockwise. Do we agree?
What? It's the Earth is rotating clockwise.
Yeah, is that what it appears to be right now? Looking at the South Pole.
But hang on a second, mate. You're looking at the Earth. We're talking about looking out at the stars. It's a totally different premise. Look,
it's not like that. Just work with me here for a sec, okay? Do we agree that looking at the South Pole here, it appears to be rotating clockwise? Yes.
Yes. Go ahead. Flip it around. It looks the other way. Go. Flip it around.
Now if we look at the North Pole, even though it's spinning in the same direction, it now appears to be rotating counterclockwise. Yes.
And no one has argued that looking from the outside in, but that's not what we're doing. We're on Earth looking at the stars. That's a totally different concept.
So,
it's a totally different concept.
So if you're looking at the Earth from above and below, and even though it's rotating in the same direction, it appears to be rotating in different directions. Does that not mean that if it appears to be rotating in different directions when you're looking up at the sky, they will also appear to be rotating in different directions?
No,
why not?
It doesn't. Let me give you an example. And I tried to do this with Toon, and he couldn't get it. If you look up at your ceiling and there's a downlight, right? Are you with me? Can you take that off so I can see you?
Yeah, I just don't understand how you don't get that.
I do get it. It's nonsense. Have a look.
I mean, I literally just showed it to you.
If you look, Craig, if you look up at a downlight, right? If you got a downlight in your ceiling. Yes. Put a downlight in the ceiling and directly under it, just put a shoe. Right? And then stand up just off center. So you can stand off center to that and spin to one direction. Just spin one direction. Look up at the downlight, it disappears over your right shoulder. Look at the sock, it disappears past your right leg. It doesn't change whether you're looking up or down when you're on the Earth. I don't understand. It's unfathomable how people argue this point.
Yeah, I don't understand how you don't get it. I really don't understand how you don't get it. Like it's boggling my mind.
Okay, it's blowing my mind that you think spinning in one direction.
So let me put this back on. Right. So
can I move on now?
Now we are on the Earth. Okay, and let's say let's put ourselves like right up here in the north. Okay. Right?
Yeah.
And let's make time go forward. So we're in the north and we're looking up at the sky. Right? This is on a rotating body, right? And this is what you see looking up north. Okay? Right.
So which way is the Earth spinning? The Earth spinning clockwise?
The Earth's spinning from
Right.
from west to
Clockwise.
east, right? From west to east, yeah. Right, and this is what you see.
Clockwise,
Okay.
right? Yeah, and that's anti-clockwise, right?
Right. So yeah, this is what you see looking up at the sky
So,
from the North Pole.
So that works, right?
Right.
So that works.
So
That
now,
works. Yeah.
now let's go and put ourselves down here in the south. Okay. And move it. Oh, and the sky's moving in the opposite direction.
Right.
Why is that?
And you think that works? Why is that? Because it's telling you that. You think that works?
This is physically modelled. This is actually modelled.
It's a model.
This is on a rotating globe, looking at a field of stars. So this is what you expect to see.
Wonderful. Okay, can we just agree to disagree and just move on?
I'm not going to agree to disagree because you're wrong.
No, oh, you're not right, and that's as simple as that. But let's move on.
I've just showed that I'm right. I've literally just showed that I'm right.
Okay, okay, Craig, you're right. Can we move on now?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, as long as you know I'm right. So,
No,
so
you're not right. You're
now,
not right, but
no, you just said I'm right, and we're going to go with that.
You think a merry-go-round spinning in one direction, if you look up, things look different to when you look down. It's fucking absurd. But look, let me move on.
I mean, I just showed you that that's how it works. So.
No, I don't care what your models show. Let's apply logic.
Oh, you
to
don't
reality.
care what models show? That's part of science,
I don't
modelling it out.
No. I said observations. Now, let me give you an observation.
That's a model of an observation of reality.
Okay, great. No, it's not. But let's do this, right? Let's do this. You ready? Let's move on. Okay, so let's look at the stars, right? Can I have a say now?
Yeah. I mean, I just want to
thank
acknowledge that
you
you've
very much.
completely ignored my entire thing, but, you know.
No, I don't agree with it. Not agreeing
Whether
is
you
not ignoring.
Well,
I
then,
just sat through
if you
an
don't
hour of it.
agree with it, you have to explain
Craig,
the observations.
I just sat through an hour of it. I'm just about to destroy it. Will you let me do it?
Okay, as long as when you destroy it, you explain the results.
There's
That's
no
fine.
Caveat. There's no caveat as long as not. You're wrong. I'm not going to agree with you. So if you don't mind, can you just bring up the position of crux that I sent you, please?
Where is it? This one here.
Yeah.
There we go.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
What about it?
Okay, so that's the position. That's the descension of crux. Okay, so I'm in Sydney, which is a latitude of 33 degrees south. That's 60 degrees south. So you can, while I'm talking to that, you can come back to your screen. I just wanted to show the evidence to your viewers.
Okay.
Put me back on screen so I can see you, Craig. Thanks.
Yeah.
I'd rather talk to you than a graphic. Okay, so the Union Jack is on our flag, and so is the Southern Cross, which is that constellation. Now, if I look to my right, I'm outside my balcony, to the right of this building, 365 days of the year, I see that constellation, Crux.
Yeah.
In the same position every single night, 365 days a year. And I think it's absolutely laughable that you believe the heliocentric model exists when every single night of the year in the same ascension, same position, I just showed you it on the celestial sphere.
And why is that a problem?
Now, why is that a problem? Okay, let me tell you why it's a problem. In 6 months' time, where is the Earth?
On the other side of the sun? On the other side of the sun?
Where is the Earth relative to the sun? Thank you very much. Now,
yeah?
which direction is nighttime in 6 months' time?
Away from the sun?
100% in the opposite direction, 180%, 180 degrees in the opposite direction, right? Is that fair to say?
Not for Australia.
Yes.
Yeah. Not for Australia.
No, for anywhere. For anywhere. Let me explain it to you if you're going to struggle with this.
No, wait. But nighttime at the equator will be 180 degrees opposite, but not
it doesn't
not
matter.
at the latitude that Australia is. No.
I'll explain it to you to make your life a bit easier. There's the sun. There's the Earth. The night side is the part away from the sun, right? Mm-hmm. Can you agree to that? Right. So now 6 months later, where's the nighttime? Right, this side away from the sun. Yeah.
Yeah, but obviously Australia's on the bottom.
You can just say yes. Don't be intellectually dishonest. You can say yes.
Oh, I'm not being intellectually dishonest. I'm just pointing out that Australia's on the bottom. You need to take that into account.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, Sydney is 30 degrees here. So Sydney has a latitude of 30 degrees south, so it's looking down that way. That's irrelevant to the point I'm trying to make. Now, you tell me, can you bring up the scale drawing I sent you of the sun and the Earth?
Scale drawing.
Yeah, there's a sun, there's a big red sun, and a tiny Earth. Thank you very much. Okay, so there's the Earth. You know where the night side is. 6 months later, it's on the opposite side of the sun with the nighttime. That's the scale, right? Now you tell me on in any form of science or logic how I can still see the same constellation in exactly the same position at night every single day of the year that it's on our flag.
Pretty simple, actually.
So let's talk about stars. Okay, go ahead. Please tell me.
Okay, I'm literally having to break out paint for this, so give me a sec.
Okay, do what you need to. And remember, it's in the same position
Uh-huh.
every single night. Same position, different orientation, but same position. And it's not off to the sides. It's not off anywhere else. It's just a similar drawing that I once did for somebody. Nice one.
So,
Don't make out as 3D, and I can't think 3D. It's in the same position every single
no,
time.
I can do this 2D. It's quite easy. So,
Go ahead.
right, here's the sun. Right, here's the Earth in May, and here's the Earth in October. Right, opposite sides. Okay. Here, all the way down here.
No, I've seen this before. Don't bother. That's nonsense.
Why is it?
It's nonsense. You can't.
Why?
Because where's midnight? Where's midnight? It's directly the center of the Earth, the longitude. It's directly away from the sun, right at night, midnight.
All right,
right?
let's put a line.
Are you saying to me?
Let's put a line across the middle.
Are you saying we're looking around the sun to the light side of the Earth, where the sun is shining, through the sun to that? That's not how it works.
No, I'm not saying
that's
that.
That's not how it works.
I'm not saying that at all.
Okay. But you're about to draw it.
So
you're about to draw it.
Australia over here, looking down.
That's not where Australia is.
Australia is
That's not where Australia is.
About here.
No.
It's not up here, is it? It's about here.
Put a line through your circle. Put a line through your circle.
I did. All right, Australia.
No, that's not Sydney. That's what you call the southern pole.
Australia's going to. It's not right. It's there, right? I'm looking from Australia's
and
here.
we're looking back
okay?
towards the sun, right? That's what you're doing.
No,
we're looking back towards daylight.
We're looking below the sun. We're looking below the sun, right?
Okay, keep going. I've seen this before. This is all amusing.
Over this side, looking straight down. Why could both of those points, looking down, because space is 3D, not see the southern crux? At what point would they be looking through the sun?
Because that's not its position.
Are you telling me that Australia is not roughly here?
You're telling me that I can see from Sydney past the southern pole into space towards the sun because it's dark enough.
Why are you looking through the? Why do you think you're looking through the southern pole?
I'm looking back towards daylight, right?
All right, let's go back to the scientific model. Let's go back to the model, shall we?
Lit up by light. You can do this all day long because I've heard it all before. Okay.
Right, so let's bring this back up. Oh, that's still going from there. Stop. Okay, so solar system. Right. So here is Earth. All right. I'm looking for the what's it? This crux. All right, and there's the crux down there. Okay. Earth, and there's the crux down there. All right. So.
Yeah. Keep going. Take the Earth to the other side of the sun, please.
All right. I'm going to.
Scan out. Scan back out.
I'm just getting for it so everyone can see where Australia is, right? So there's Australia there.
It's okay. All right. Yeah.
Right.
Scan back out. Go back out.
Looking down, and the crux is below it, right?
Take the Earth to the other side of the sun.
So let's take the Earth 6 months on.
Yeah. Keep going. Thank you. That's it. Keep going. And there's your point.
There.
Thank you very much.
And then, and look, and there's the crux still there. That was 6 months. That was from there to there.
No, keep going. Go to the other side of the sun, away from crux.
What do you mean? Like there we go. That's the other side.
Keep going. Now where's daylight? Where's the nighttime side of the Earth?
But crux is below. Like it's down this way. So you're looking down there.
It's only 30 degrees below. I know exact position. It's always between 12 and 13 hours.
Yeah. And that's what you see down there, right? So people on the nighttime of Earth are looking down at the crux, which is down there, right?
Right, it's not down there. Have a look. Just stop for a second. In your own model, look where the nighttime
is. This is my model. This is my model. Just so you know, this is my model.
Where the night side of the Earth is. Keep going. Spin it around more. Don't be dishonest. Spin it around.
I'm trying to. Just a sec. It's frozen.
Bring the night side of the Earth to us. Thank you very much. There's the night. Stop there. There's your night. There's your night. And there's Sydney. And there's your crux on the daylight side of the Earth.
Yeah,
do you understand how your model fails?
It doesn't, because the crux is...
It doesn't.
No, it really doesn't, because the crux is down there. Yeah, and it's looking down this way. It's looking down this way. This way. Not towards the sun. because the crux is like down there. Where's it gone?
Craig. You
Like
know what?
I've just debunked you, Tony. This is hilarious. Like live, I've debunked you live.
Are you fucking delusional? Are you
Look,
delusional?
how could it
Are
not
you
see it if it's
delusional?
down there below it? How could it not see it?
Are you delusional?
I'm literally showing. There is at no point
You're
here.
being dishonest.
There's at no
Keep going,
point.
spin the earth. Take
There's
the 6 months away. Thank you. Keep
There
going.
you go.
Keep going. Now stop there. Stop there.
Yep.
Stop there.
And there we go.
Nighttime. Nighttime is facing Venus, and Crux is back on the other side of the.
Crux is down there, so it could still see it. No problems.
No, it can't see shit. It can't see shit.
All right, where's
It's
Australia?
60 degrees. I just sent you the position. You
Let's
can
get
play
it
all
in.
you like.
Let's get Australia in nighttime. Let's get Australia
This
in
is what I'm
nighttime.
using.
There we go.
This is what
So
I'm using.
there we go. Australia in nighttime.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
if you're here,
Pull out. Pull out.
you're going to
Yeah,
be
pull out,
looking
pull out.
down at the crux,
Yeah,
which
pull
is
out.
all the way.
Yeah.
See how far away the crux actually is? It's
Right.
down
Yeah,
there,
sure. Okay,
right?
now.
Compared to the
Yeah.
celestial sphere.
Now go back to
right?
zoom into Earth. Zoom into you see you're being dishonest. Go back. Now if you spin away from
How am I
Crux,
being
back to
dishonest,
where you were
Tony?
before.
Tony, stop calling me dishonest because you don't
Scroll
like
around.
facts are ruin you.
Scroll around. Scroll around. Go
Scroll
6
around.
months from
Yeah.
where you are.
There we go.
Go all the way.
You want
Keep
you want
going,
you wanted
all
me
the
to go
way.
6 months again?
No,
Ba-da-dum.
just
There we go.
Stop there.
There's
Stop
6
there.
months,
Stop there.
and the
Okay.
crux is still below them. They can still see it.
Okay, good on you. All right, no worries. That's not 60 degrees south, by the way. You're
Debunked
ignoring
you.
this position
Tony,
on this-
I've
on the
debunked
celestial
you.
sphere. Craig,
Yeah.
Craig,
Yes.
you know
Yes,
what?
Mr.
Why don't we do this again another time? Because now you're just delusional. How's that?
Sorry. So showing you a model
I
that
don't want this
debunks you
to-
is delusional.
I don't want this to deteriorate.
Tony,
I don't want
Tony,
this to
wait,
deteriorate.
Tony. So you're saying
Because
showing you a
think
model
you're
that
above me.
debunks you?
You think you're above me, but you're embarrassing-
Tony,
you're embarrassing
Tony.
yourself.
So you're saying showing you a model that
embarrassing
debunks you is not debunking you? Do you want to explain
Let
that?
me tell you something. I'm outside. Crux is directly over there every single day of the year. Not below me. It's at 60 degrees south. All I
Yeah,
do is
but
look south.
from the point of
That's all.
of Earth, you're looking down.
365 days of the year.
Uh-huh.
365 days of the year. It doesn't.
I
have
just
to
showed
move.
how that's
It
possible.
doesn't go anywhere.
I
It's not
just showed
possible.
how that's
It's
possible.
not possible. It's not
I
possible
just
because it
showed.
can't-
I just showed you how it's possible.
It's not possible, my friend.
I
Go
just.
back,
You
go back,
say
go
it's
back
not
to your-
possible,
go
but I
back to your
just showed you
paint.
how it's possible.
Go back to your paint drawing. Go back to your
Well,
paint drawing.
the paint's 2D. I'm going to use the 3D model.
No, the 3D model just fucked your story up. It's
No,
not
it
what happened.
destroyed you, Tony. It's not my fault you
just
don't
got-
understand
you
it.
just got owned.
Right,
just
so
got owned.
let's go to Earth and
just
have a
got
look.
owned.
Right,
Mate, you just got owned by your own model.
Tony. Shitting over the chessboard like a pigeon doesn't mean you've won.
I'm not low enough like a spirit to claim victory. I'm just telling you, you're making an idiot of yourself. I don't claim victory. It's
Okay.
not about victory. It's about having an open debate.
Right,
You're the one
so
that's saying,
let's.
I've debunked you. I've debunked you. You haven't debunked shit.
Where are you? Where's Sydney? Is it this side?
I just showed you the celestial position.
Yeah,
Your argument would work. Your argument
on
would work if
on this
Crux
map
moved
here,
around.
Tony. On this map here,
Yeah.
whereabouts is Sydney? I'm not up to date with. I don't know Australian. Whereabouts is Sydney?
About eastern seaboard. Yeah, about
East.
keep going south. It's about 33-degree latitude.
Right. Okay. So
South.
let's
Sure,
say
that
here.
means-
Right.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah.
And let's look for the crux.
Yeah.
Right. So there it is. That is what, based on this model, right, with the celestial sphere correct as it is,
Yeah.
because this is all based on real-time data. All right. Now
Yeah.
we're in July. Okay. So let's take it forward to December, and we'll have a look at what the model actually says. So, got July.
You see how its rotation changes, but its position never changes?
Yeah, which is, again, this is the model that you expect to see.
But it can't be the model because it's a heliocentric model, which is not a true model.
This is the heliocentric model.
Yeah, which is not the correct model, but yeah. We'll
I mean, this is based on all the data from reality. All right, let's
no,
let's
not
just...
from reality, from hypotheses.
No, this is based on data gathered in reality. All right, let's change the date
Anyway, keep going.
manually. We'll change it to December.
Mate, you did it before, so I don't know why you're doing it again. You did
Well,
it
we
before.
we haven't looked
6
at
months away.
and
Crux
now this is
Crux was on the daylight side of the Earth.
there we
You
go.
debunked
So
yourself. I don't know why you're doing it again.
according to the heliocentric model,
Yeah.
you are able to see it. So our model says that you should be able to see the crux, 6 months apart. Because we're now in December and we were in
Are you happy
July.
now? Are you happy now? Are you
Yeah.
happy?
Now that I've debunked you again.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Okay, yeah, great. Whatever you think. Now let's go back to my actual argument about the sphere Earth and the flat Earth, right? Can we go back? Because we digress a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me put on some evidence. All right. You know, I sent you one of the first clips I sent you was of Brisbane. Can you bring that up, please?
Picture of Brisbane.
So let's go with your argument. You can see crux during the day. Okay. Fucking hilarious. All right.
Didn't
bring
say
it up.
during the
Bring
day.
up my argument. Bring it up. Yeah. Before that, there was a clip before that. We'll get to that in a minute.
There was a clip.
There's a clip. I sent you a link, a YouTube clip.
I didn't get that.
Before or after? No, it's before or after. You can show it. I'll show you.
When did you send me the clip?
Yeah, it's directly after that. It's the message directly after that.
Oh yeah, no, I see it. My bad.
Okay, can you play it? I just want to play it and just let people know it's not a flat Earth clip and it's not a sphere Earth clip. I just want people to watch it for a second and then I'll explain how the Earth is flat.
Display one. All right, one sec. Let me. There we go.
Okay, let's play this clip just from the beginning and watch closely. Okay, so that's Brisbane, right? That's the city of Brisbane. You can see it's seen from the water level. Right, see that boat on the water? So you can see it's seen from the water level. And then it zooms out in a sec. Just give it a second. It's only a couple minutes.
How far is this seeing, just out of interest?
It's 47 kilometers.
So
And we'll do the calculation in a minute.
miles.
So now she's zooming back out, right? She's zooming back out to what's so-called disappears over the horizon. So
No, I wouldn't say that's disappearing. I wouldn't say that's disappearing over the horizon.
I've been to Brisbane. Sorry, say that again.
I wouldn't say that's disappearing over the horizon.
No, but I'm saying that's what you say happens, right?
No,
Okay,
no,
so let's have a
that's
look.
not what we say
Let's have a
happens
look.
with things like that.
Just stop. This is my argument now. Let me say something, right?
Okay, it's not. Yeah, it's cool. I'm just saying that
Okay,
that
that's
my
cool.
my
Right,
argument
okay, great.
wouldn't be that they
All right,
disappeared
so
over the
now-
horizon.
Okay, I've been to that's a Salil building now. I'll show you that in a minute. I've been to Brisbane over 20 times. I've been to Moreton Bay and the pier from where this was taken twice. So just finish watching it. You can have a look. You know, you might have some questions about the height and so forth. You can see that it comes in at the same height as the boats. So it's basically off the pier I've been to. Now, what I want you to do is you can do the calculations for me. Now, I want to just state very clearly, and I can bring this up or you can search it for yourself. The air density from Brisbane to Moreton Bay is the same. The air temperature is the same. The humidity is the same. So before we start arguing bullshit like refraction, you need to know that there's no isotropic change in medium and there's no density change. There's no temperature change.
Well, there will be
Now,
density and temperature change as you go above the water. Of course, there will.
Correct, but we're not doing that. We're just looking directly across, yeah? We're not looking up a mountain, atmospheric refraction. So let's just go. I want you to bring up a calculator.
We're still looking for a gradient.
Just do me a favor, right?
Yeah.
Because it's my argument. Just do me a favor. The pier, you're at 3 meters high. I'll show you the pictures afterwards. Calculate this for me. A height of 3 meters and a distance of 47. What's the hidden height?
Assuming zero. We're assuming zero atmosphere here, right?
Well, no, you can use standard refraction if you like, even though it doesn't occur. I don't want to get into an argument with you about Snell's law. I had this discussion with you prior to this.
I know, but I mean, refraction 100% exists. So.
No, it doesn't exist. No,
it absolutely does.
Gradient.
It absolutely
you don't know
does.
Snell's law, so you don't know anything about
I
Snell's
do
law.
know Snell's law, actually. I do know Snell's law.
Well, what are the two elements required then? What are the two elements required for refraction?
Two elements required of a refraction are a angle of an incidence change, and
a what? Sorry, a what?
An angle.
This is the second one. What's the first one?
A change in medium or a change in density.
Thank you very much. Okay, that doesn't occur in either of those there. No, not
a change in density or a change in temperature. Those work as well.
Yes, and I just said to you there was no change in temperature between the two venues.
But there will be a change in temperature there will be a lapse rate, right?
No. The temperature in Moreton Bay is exactly the same temperature as Brisbane.
Yeah, but there's going to be a lapse rate, right?
Density, humidity is the same.
Yeah.
So anyway, do your calculations.
So there's good. Just to confirm, there's going to be a lapse rate, right?
A lapse rate of what? Sorry.
For refraction.
Lapse rate?
Do you not know what
there's no refraction? No, there's no refraction. There's
you
no
say
discussion, but you can use standard.
You say that, but of course there's refraction because there's a medium.
No,
so of course
there
there's
isn't.
refraction.
There isn't. There's no change in medium.
There is.
Air to air.
Yeah, but it's a change.
Air to air.
A gradient change can cause refraction.
But there's no gradient change. I just told you the temperature is the same and the density is the same.
Of course, there's a change in gradient going from the water upwards.
Yeah, but I'm not looking up Mount Everest. I'm looking across.
Yeah, so you'd be looking through. So you'd be looking through a gradient then.
Okay, stop. You know what you're talking about. Just calculate the hidden height.
Wait, don't tell me I don't know what I'm talking about, Tony. I know exactly what I'm talking about. I know exactly what I'm talking about. Tony, I know exactly what I'm talking about.
What's the change in isotropic medium?
That would be a change in one medium to another.
From a pier to Brisbane.
You do not need a change in isotropic medium for refraction to happen. That's not true.
Oh, fuck yeah. Yes, you do.
Can I have a citation for that, please?
Yeah, sure. I'll send it to you. Just I'll make
give me it now. Go and Google right now and find me a citation that says you have to have a change in isotropic medium.
I'm not going to let you take me off path.
I'm telling you outright you are wrong. A change in gradient of the same medium will cause refraction, and I've got things right now that can prove that to you.
Okay, what's the gradient? Are we talking pressure gradient, density gradient, or temperature gradient?
Well, there'll be all of them.
Well, there's no change in either because it's the same across both venues.
There is
density,
between
air temperature,
a gradient from the water upwards. So you will be looking as the surface is curved. You will be looking through a gradient.
Okay, all right. Okay, so that's fine. You believe refraction occurs, included in your calculation. Standard refraction.
Okay, so standard refraction is one. Standard refraction is. So standard refraction is 1 degree. Wait. Standard refraction is 1 degree, correct?
I don't know what standard refraction is because it doesn't occur. Just put it into your model and see what you get.
It absolutely does.
Just put it into your model and see what you get.
Okay, let me get the one up with the advanced curve calculator, which has everything on it. Right. So observer height. What was it?
3 meters.
3
Use 5
meters.
if you like.
No, we'd go with what that was. Target distance.
Okay, 3 meters. When you're standing on the pier, it's about 3 meters.
Target distance in kilometers.
47 kilometers.
47. Target size is irrelevant.
What's the hidden height?
Refraction standard. Okay.
What'd you get? 90 meters.
Wait, I'm just.
What'd you get? 90 meters.
Target 1 visible 10 meters, hidden 0 size 10. Sorry, 1 second. I'm just trying to read the.
That's okay. You're going to get about 90 meters, which is what Michael Toon got.
Yeah, 82 was standard.
Okay, 82 meters. All right, let's work with 82 meters.
That's without the refraction. If I put refraction on, then it says standard refraction. There would be none.
That's not true. If you go to my slide now, I'll show you what it's like without refraction. Go ahead. Well, we can work with 82 meters.
Wait, so is there refraction or not?
There's no refraction, but you're using standard refraction, right?
No, with standard refraction, 0 hidden.
That's nonsense. Go to my slide. I'll show you what the truth is.
Which slide?
The one I sent you just before this clip. The one you brought up just before.
This one here.
Thank you. That's the one. Okay. So let me explain this. That's the pier. So the pier meets with the shoreline, but we used about 3 meters height, right? So from the water to the camera, about 3 meters. You can see that on the left, 3 meters for the eye height. Distance of 47 kilometers. Then you scroll down, you can see down the bottom there, 130 meters is the hidden height. That's from Moreton Bay, the pier, to Sydney, to Brisbane. So if you look now at that picture in the middle with the yellow and the red line, the tallest building in Brisbane is the Salil building at 243 meters, and the calculation I got of hidden height is 130. According to sphere geometry, okay, with 0 refraction, which doesn't occur, but we can put refraction there and go with 82 meters. That's fine with me. Michael Toon got 90. You can still see everything underneath that yellow line should not be visible if the Earth was a sphere. That's the calculation based on your sphere geometry.
If refraction didn't exist. If refraction didn't exist, yes, of course.
Hang on a second. Yeah, hang on a second. Now, firstly, I said to you, I didn't want to get into an argument unless you bring a professor of refraction and optics. I'm not going to get into an argument with you.
Well, I regularly talk with Professor Refraction. In fact, the world's leading expert in refraction, Dr. Andrew Young.
That's wonderful. Okay, great. So what we'll do is this. We can use refraction, and Michael Toon did. He used standard refraction and got the answer of 90 meters. Even if you drop from 130 to 90, that's still an impossibility on a sphere Earth. So that, again, proves the Earth is flat. But you guys want to keep going on about refraction. That's fine.
Yeah.
I don't disagree
so,
with you. Right.
So, let's just do the math then, quickly.
I'm talking now, Craig.
Wait, can I not
disagree with you?
Can I not respond? Can I not respond to the point?
In a moment, when I finish. I don't disagree with you. Atmospheric refraction occurs over altitude, and surveyors take that into account. If I was at the base of Mount Everest and I'm looking up at there, I will see refraction because there's a greater density of vapor in the air and it becomes ice. And that's
not what causes refraction.
Ice to air, and you'll see some refraction. But that's not the case in here. Air density is the same, temperature is the same, and humidity is the same. There's no reason for any angle of incidence of that light to come off anything, and there's no reason for refraction. But like I said,
if you're making the assumption Earth's flat, of course. If you're making the complete assumption that the Earth is flat, then yes, there will be no gradient that you're looking through. You have to be, because if it's curved, if the Earth is curved, you will be looking through a gradient.
You keep saying that, but you don't know what you're talking about.
I do know what I'm talking about. You keep saying, I'd agree with you, but then we'd both be wrong.
I don't want to agree with you because you're wrong, and I don't want to humiliate you.
I mean, physics also disagrees with you, but you know.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't disagree with me. I'm telling you what.
So,
you admitted it.
So
there's two elements to be satisfied, right? And hang on a second. You're from England, right?
It does not require a change in isotropic medium. It can be the same medium.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And I can show you the reference. You're from England.
You can.
Right? A person did the same thing. 63. I think it was 63 kilometers from France to Dover Heights, to the cliffs of Dover, and the same thing exists. You're not supposed to see the whole cliff as you can. I've done that calculation as well. So have many other people. And you can't blame it on mirages. You can't blame. Let me tell you about refraction. Let me tell you about refraction. Refraction is the bending of the light. Can we agree to that?
Refraction is the change of direction of light. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much. It's not curving of the light. It's not curving of the light into your eyelids. It's not curving the light into your aperture.
It can curve if it goes through a gradient.
No, it's not curving. It's a bending
many small changes of instance will be a curve. So let me respond and destroy your argument because it's pretty easy.
You can't destroy it, Craig. You just got to make a fool of yourself. But go ahead.
I can because I've actually prepared.
No, you can't. But I just use geometry.
First off, yeah, okay, but you're ignoring refraction, obviously. So first off, the math
of you it doesn't exist.
You're wrong. So let's say it's 30. Let's say it's 33 miles. Let's say it's 33 miles. Okay.
Hey, hang on a second. My iPods are dying. Let me just put you back on the computer.
Okay, you good? Sorted?
I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay, so first off, if we quickly do the math, so 47 kilometers, so what, 33 or 35 miles. So that would mean that light would have to bend less than half a degree for you to be able to see what you're seeing, which isn't a problem because standard refraction is 1 degree. So first off, saying that refraction doesn't exist, observations like this very much disagree with you. As the refractive conditions change throughout the day, you can literally see the shoreline move up and down. Either that's happening or there is some kind of refraction going on. You can even see points where it completely disappears and then comes back because of the refraction, stretching, miraging, definitely refraction happening at sea level. But this isn't the main one I wanted to show you. The main one I want to show you is from a friend of mine called Mick West, who not only is a genius, but programmed the original Tony Hawks. So, here he is performing
please don't show me this. Please don't insult my intelligence. This is fucking ridiculous.
So,
it's ridiculous. I've seen this.
Here we have Mick West.
I've seen that. I've seen it.
Creating
Craig, I've seen it.
Well, let me finish.
There is a density gradient in there.
Your claim...
There's a density gradient there. Absolutely. No disagreement. It's full of sugar down the bottom.
Yeah,
no disagreement.
So where's the isotropic change?
That's not what's occurring in nature.
So this is
That's not what's occurring in nature.
do you want to shush now? Thank you. This is a representation of the atmosphere, the gradient going from more at the bottom to less at the top. It is one medium. There is no change of medium. And what you can see quite clearly is that you can refract the laser and completely bend it around to see from one side to the other.
White light doesn't
Wait. Let me finish. Let me finish.
I'll let you finish.
A laser is just a light, nothing more.
It's not white light. It doesn't have the properties of white light.
It has the properties of light. Light refracts. As you can see, without a change in medium, just a change in the density and the temperature of the medium, you can completely change the path of the light. This is what happens to light. Any light will refract, going through a medium with a density gradient. You do not categorically need a change in the actual medium. It can go through one medium, as shown here, and refract. So much,
right?
Yeah, which is what is happening above the water.
That's nonsense. She's at water level. She's filming directly ahead.
Yeah,
she's not
still filming directly ahead. You're going to be looking through that gradient, just like he is here.
What's the angle of incidence for refraction? Do you even know what
it's going to be tiny? Yes, I know what refraction is. I'm showing you it.
Yeah, no, you're not. That's nonsense. That's not refraction in real life. That's not how refraction works.
This is exactly how refraction works. So what is this not?
Seen this nonsense before.
Is this not refraction then? Is this refraction? Yes or no?
Is there a density gradient in there?
Yes, just like it above the ocean there is.
Beautiful. Is there a change in isotropic medium?
No.
Is the laser not going from air into water, through glass into water?
But when it's in the water that it changes.
No buts. I've listened to the bullshit, so no.
It's when the laser is in.
Is it going from air through glass through water?
We are focusing on the laser that is in the water.
Air through glass through water.
We are focusing on the laser inside the laser light that is inside the thing.
There is a density gradient.
Yes, which represents Earth. There is a density gradient above the water on Earth.
The air's not full of sugar.
Wait, are you saying there's no density gradient above the water on Earth?
I'm saying there's no density gradient in between these two locations. No. No,
so
absolutely not.
Okay, there's not going to be a density gradient between the left and the right. There's going to be a density gradient between the bottom and the top.
Correct, but I'm not looking.
Just like on Earth. Just like on Earth. Just like on Earth.
I'm looking across at the city.
So yeah.
I'm looking across at the city.
And because the light,
same air pressure, same air density, same air density.
And you're going to be looking through. You're going to be looking through the gradient because of the curve of the Earth.
Okay, so your fairy tale is that your fairy tale is that a city down a curve can bend light sunlight reflects off the city and bends directly into this laser's aperture.
No one said it reflects.
That's your fairy tale.
No one says it reflects. It refracts. Right. So during this video,
refraction is not the bending of light like you're showing with a laser.
Yes, it is. That's exactly what refraction is.
Refraction is a change. It's a redirection of light. That's the best way to put it.
And it's being redirected through every little layer of gradient.
It doesn't redirect over a curve.
Yes, it does. That's exactly what it's doing right now. You can deny what's happening in front of you all you want, but it just makes you look silly.
That's not nature. That's not
everything is nature. Everything is nature. Everything is nature. Everything is nature.
That's an idiot who filled a fish tank full of sugar. You out of your mind?
How dare you call Mick West an idiot? He programmed the original Tony Hawk's. Do not disrespect the man. Do not disrespect the man who programmed Tony Hawk's.
Appeal to authority. You're appealing to authority. There's no sugar in the air.
Showing experiments done by people is not appealing to authority.
Have you lost the plot? Or what?
No. Right. So now let me show you the next one that destroys you.
Let me talk for a minute.
I'm still destroying your argument.
No, you're not destroying anything. You're looking like a fucking idiot. You're delusional.
Right. So let me.
Sugar.
So. This is
what happens every time I put an argument on.
I'm responding to your argument. Chill out. I'm just responding to your argument.
But I'm telling you, refraction doesn't occur. There's
you can say that all you want, but you'd be wrong. Right. So.
Stop for a second. Stop. You told me.
I'm still responding to your argument. I'm still responding to your argument.
No, you're just filibustering me.
No,
Because you're not letting me talk, which
I'm
is what-
responding
which is
to your
what I
argument.
did last time.
Let me finish responding to your argument.
But there's no response.
Yeah, there is.
There's no
So
response. You
if
can't
you
see that's
chill,
honest.
let me
You've been destroyed, Craig. You've been destroyed.
me showing evidence that you're wrong is not me being destroyed.
accept it.
Right.
No, no,
so
no, I don't-
now,
I'm
Tony,
showing you
Tony,
real life
Tony, Tony,
observation.
Tony, Tony,
I'm
pay
showing you
attention.
real life observation. You're showing me.
I'm about to show you a real life observation. Right. So let me talk you through what's happening here. So.
You know, you're looking really desperate with your observers and your viewers here. You should just quit while you're ahead.
So, Tony, here we have, as you can see, a can with some bits of plasticine on. Yes, you see the yellow at the bottom, the red in the
That's
in the
nature,
middle.
Is that an observation in nature?
Yes, absolutely. Everything's
Oh,
nature.
this is an observation in nature. I'm just showing you a photo of Brisbane 47 kilometres away that shouldn't be seen on a sphere Earth, and it is.
With refraction, it's fine.
That's an observation in nature.
Yeah.
But you're saying there's a fantasy light that bends into my aperture.
So here we go.
You know how fucking ridiculous that is?
Here we go.
Do you know
So
how ridiculous that is?
Tony, you need to take a deep breath and calm down because
No,
you're
no, no, I
you're
don't
looking
need
very
to
silly
I don't
right
have to
now.
keep listening to the bullshit.
Tony, everyone is seeing you panic
Just
right now.
concede.
Everyone is seeing you
Just
panic.
concede.
Everybody is seeing
This is
you
my
panic
argument,
like a
and you're
child.
talking over me.
And I am still responding
Just
to your
concede, 'cause
claim.
You're looking stupid.
So here,
concede, you're looking
as you can see, there is a can with some
You're
the
coming
bits
across
of
very
plastic.
desperate.
Tony, good boy.
You're coming
Now,
across very
as you
desperate,
can see, there's a can with 3 bits of plasticine on: yellow, red, and blue. You see that? Yes. I'm going to assume you did. So, what he does is he puts this behind a curved surface, which is that tank there, right? Places the camera so that what you can see is just the very top with the green, bluey bit on. Nothing else, just that, right? Then what he does is he causes the gradient of temperature to be exaggerated by pouring a liquid that cools the air down. And when he does that, what happens is exactly what we are claiming happens over long distances. The air gets colder, and as you can see, the refraction has caused the red part to be lifted up above the horizon, as we expect to happen. This is a representation of what happens above the air on a lake. Now, the liquid that he's pouring on is about 0 degrees centigrade, which is the average temperature of air above a lake, showing that a change in the density or a change in the temperature gradient will cause light to refract and be able to see what is the other side of the curve. That debunks you about refraction.
Wait, there's a pig flying outside. Let me just grab it. Hang on.
Oh, the laugh, the uncomfortable laugh of a man that's been destroyed.
That's sad, Craig. Yeah, that's very, very sad.
Do I need to go on and destroy you some more?
You guys claim, but I've just told you there's no density gradient, no temperature gradient. I can send you.
But there will be above.
Ridiculous
There will be a temperature gradient and a density gradient.
I can send you real science, but you're not interested because you're being destroyed. You're just desperate now.
Yeah, you're literally acting like a pigeon shitting on the chessboard when he thinks he's won.
Yeah. Okay, we've heard that one. We've heard that one.
Yeah,
we've heard that one. You all react the same when you get owned.
Here we go. So here is another one then.
You all react the same. Are you done? Are you finished?
If you're going to keep denying, I'm going to keep going.
No, well, you know, you're talking. You talk to your audience. I'm not stopping you from talking to your audience.
So, here is an observation done by Red's Rhetoric. He calls it the blink test, right? So
this is what happens every time I put an argument on. You guys just filibuster.
I am. All these are responding. All these are responses to your argument, which destroy your argument.
Which they don't destroy shit. You're only destroying your credibility of what you got left of it.
So
keep going. Keep digging your hole. I need to laugh. Keep going.
This is looking across the bay in Florida, so as you can see, refractive conditions are pretty minimal. And what Red does is he blinks between the shot that he took and then a shot from much closer up. And what this shows is that the buildings are the same height, yet half of the buildings in this shot when he is the other side of the bay appear to be hidden under the water.
And what's the principle?
So,
and what's that fuzziness called across the top of the water?
The fuzziness, the slight bit of compression.
What's that fuzzy mist called?
The slight bit of compression that's there.
What's it called? Come on, you're telling me. You're telling the story. I'm just going to give you the science behind it.
What would you refer to? Why is this occurring? Because the Earth's curve is in the way.
Rubbish. That's
So,
absolute nonsense.
Are those
That's
buildings
exactly
underwater? Are those
That's
buildings
exactly
underwater?
That's
Are
exactly
those
what the principle.
No.
I can't talk, can I?
Well, I was talking, but if you're going to say perspective,
I have a chance to respond.
okay. If you're going to say perspective, though, the formula alpha
mirroring.
equals 2 times the arctan of g over 2r disagrees with you.
That's called mirroring. The fuzziness is called mirroring.
Mirroring? There's no mirroring there. There's no mirroring.
Yes, that's called mirroring, and I can send you evidence on that as well.
Where's the
That's called
mirroring?
mirroring.
Where's
And
the mirroring?
And that's beyond the
There's
horizon,
nothing
which
being
is-
mirrored. There's nothing being mirrored.
Are you done?
Yeah, I mean, you can't just lie to me.
You're
There's
done,
no
'cause
mirroring
You're just
there.
looking desperate. You're just looking desperate.
Tony, you're the one that's just
So
said
the reason
mirroring
this-
with something that there's no mirroring. Where's the mirroring?
The reason this occurs is because at the horizon line is what's also known as our vanishing point, and things vanish from bottom up.
Why?
So the further you move away from this city, if you're moving away in a boat from this city, it will disappear, not just angular size wise, but it will disappear bottom down first.
No, it won't.
It'll disappear from the bottom up. That's why you get that. That's why you've got that. It's a principle of perspective. It has nothing to do with
Which principle of
nothing to do with
perspective?
sphere Earth. It's
Which
a
principle of
science
perspective?
known as perspective and perspective.
Which-
You're talking over me.
Yeah, I'm just asking you which principle of perspective.
It's called the principle of linear perspective. That's how, and vanishing point. Read it and look it up. It's there.
No, that
It's not
doesn't
something
exist.
that's made up.
So-
The further I move away from this, the further away I move away from this city, the more it disappears from the bottom down, and it disappears while it's mirroring. And I've got evidence to show you that. If
But
you-
there's
if
no,
viewers want to see
Tony,
that.
but there is no mirroring there. There's nothing being mirrored.
That's what that fuzziness is. That fuzziness on the top of the water is called mirroring. That's a scientific term for it. And I'll send
and
it to you so you can see it.
Also, the formula for angular perspective, alpha equals 2 times the arctan of g over 2r, disagrees with your assertion that things will disappear bottom up. There is nothing about
Correct.
perspective that say that things will disappear bottom up. Mainly because
Did you hear what I
parallel
said? Did you hear what I
lines.
said?
Hold on, parallel lines.
Linear
Lines.
perspective
Parallel
and vanishing
lines.
points.
Yeah, but vanishing point
And
still.
vanishing points.
Still, vanishing
Don't-
point
don't
does
misquote
not.
me.
Vanishing point does not
Don't
mean
misquote
that
me.
thing.
I told you the principle of
shh,
perspective and vanishing points.
Yeah, I'm trying to say that.
Vanishing
trying-
point is the horizon line.
I'm trying to
The
say that
vanishing
now,
point is the horizon line.
Tony.
You're going to talk over me, I'll talk over you.
I'm trying to agree with you. If you will listen, the vanishing point still does in no way explain things disappearing bottom up because parallel lines do not intersect. Nothing in nothing in the vanishing point says that things will disappear bottom up. All right,
How about I
parallel
send you that reference
lines,
too?
parallel lines do not intersect.
How about I should, who said they do?
Well, they would
You
have
mean say
to.
that, but,
They would have
do
to
you
for
mean
things
say
to
they
disappear.
do?
They would have to for things to disappear bottom up. They would have to.
No, they don't.
If
Look, I'll send you the link and you can share it with your viewers if you like.
yeah,
Okay?
for
'Cause
for
another
things
thing
to
I say is
disappear
opinion.
for things to disappear bottom up on a flat plane, you would have to have parallel lines intersecting. It's a necessity.
Okay, look, how about instead of sending you the link, how about I send you a quick clip that we can all watch together? How's that? Will that work for you?
Feel free.
We'll watch it from start to finish, okay? And then
Yeah,
after that, we
feel
can
free.
call it, and maybe we can continue the debate next time because I think it's been a fun and amicable debate, and I don't want it to deteriorate with you claiming victory like all the other fucking assholes do.
I mean, I don't need to claim victory. I clearly won.
Yeah, no, it's childish. It's childish, and you just coming across desperate now. Just as PhD Tony and Michael.
So whilst you're getting that clip, I'll start reading some super chats. Just let me know when you're ready.
No, can you mute me? Can you mute it? You can read them with your clients. I'm going to mute it.
Okay. Alison for $5 Australian says pick horse-sized chicken, 2 domesticate it, 3 farm it for massive eggs and chicken nuggets for profit. Yeah, if you guys haven't voted on the poll, it's very, very important. Would you rather fight 100 horse-sized chicken-sized horses or 1 horse-sized chicken? Just think of the chicken drumsticks. Fogger Persia Bakashi, $2. Let's see if we match the Santos dumpster fire. I don't think anything's ever going to match that. Lord Luminous. Yep.
Sorry, Craig, can you just mute that side for a sec?
You can
So
mute
you can
me.
talk to your people? Just mute it so I don't hear it.
Well, he must get upset. Some might be directed towards you though, and questions for you.
No, I'm not interested. I'm not interested in what people have to say.
Oh yeah, but some might be questions for you.
Mate, we haven't even got my argument. Okay, fine, whatever.
All right. I'll let you know. Okay. Oh, butthurt.
Back in a sec, Craig. I gotta go to the loo.
Lord Luminous Poo for $5. The Titanic could have been saved if they had the power of flex tape back in 1912. Now that's some damage. Fucking flex tape, amazing. MC Toon for $1.99 says owned. He must have dreamt that debate. Yeah, just like he's destroyed me in this one, huh? P Barnes, $5 Australian. Please tell me you have a Rubik's Cube FTFE. I do not. I haven't used the Rubik's Cube for a long time. Don't even know if I could still do one. Mad Apple's $5. The debate has not yet started. However, how does it feel to lose before the debate is even started? You are simply wrong. No, and no, you lose. Every Flerf should realise that. Folk Repairship Akashi, $2. Science means different things in different fields. Yeah, that's why I asked him about which scientific method. Folk Repairship Akashi, $2. YouTube isn't a credible source like Google search. Then we got Mark Zeonce, who's been a member for 10 months. If you're a member, you get free super chats. Just saying hello. Hello, Mark. How are you doing? All right, Tony sent me something there. Oh, fuck it, word. Fuck's sake. Really? Fucking Phuket word.
Okay, Craig, I sent you through that link. Let's just watch
yeah,
it.
I saw
Just,
fucking
Phuket. Papers,
fucking
really
Phuket
nice
word. Phuket, fuck
It's a really good graphical representation.
I'm pretty sure I've already
Can you hear me?
debunked this one. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Let me just get
I'll
this
send
up
it to you
then.
so you can play it. You can play it.
So yeah, this is Phuket word on a not flat surface.
Start it again. Start it from the beginning. Start it from the beginning. It's a good way to save you guys time from reading studies. Oh.
So yeah, just to start, this is Phuket word on a not flat surface, trying to show something.
Sorry, say that again. What did you say, Craig?
This is Phuket word on a non-flat surface.
This is a flat surface. Don't add narrative that suits you.
No, it's clearly not flat.
Just watch it.
Yeah,
watch it till the end.
Trust me, we've seen this. In fact, I covered this before.
Just be quiet and watch.
I can't play all his video because he copyright strikes people. So
yes, you can, because it debunks you. You can play it.
Yeah. Again, he copyright strikes people, so I'll skip through to relevant points.
No, this is relevant. See how you don't want to hear the argument?
So he's showing a mirror on he's showing a mirror on a reflective surface that is not flat. So
it's not a reflective surface. Just watch the clip and stop your
narrative. It
narrative.
clearly is a reflective surface.
I'm putting on my evidence.
Yeah.
Let me put on my evidence. I sat through your modelling.
Yeah, we're talking about it. Tony, we're talking about it as we go.
Play it.
Yeah, we're talking about it as we go. This is my show. So
for fuck's sake, here we go. Don't act like a petulant child. Just play the clip.
Yeah, we're talking about it as we go. So it's on a reflective surface on non-flat. Yeah, trust me, my viewers have already seen this.
I don't care. Let them see it again.
There's heat haze because it's on a hot surface. So we're ignoring that, obviously.
You're just sounding desperate, mate. Seriously, just let it go.
You can see you can literally see the heat haze on this non-flat surface. Yes,
shut up and let them watch it.
Yeah. I'm going to narrate. It's cool. So yeah, non-flat surface, heat haze.
What a fucking turkey. Seriously. Just let them watch it, mate.
Yeah, we're watching it. Chill out. Narrative. So still
mate. They're not going to get anything out of it the way you're playing it. Oh my god.
Yeah. So there we go. Still. I'll give them the link. They can watch it themselves. But
no. I want them to watch it now, so that they know
nothing.
Is bullshit.
Nothing here backs you up because heat haze, non-flat surface.
Baby. Just watch the clip.
Yeah.
Watch the clip. Stop sucking.
Yeah, so again, nothing here backs you up. Non-flat
Watch the
surface,
clip,
repeat
stop
haze,
sucking.
reflective.
Watch the
Yep,
clip and stop
Tony,
sucking.
you need to
Come
calm
across like a
down.
petulant child.
You really need to have a deep breath. You're going to have a heart attack, dude.
Do you want a hug? Do you want a hug, Craig?
I think you need one.
Do you want a hug? Come on, I'll give you a hug.
So,
Stop being a
yep.
sook. Just watch.
So still no
better.
flat surface.
It gets better. It gets better. Right now it's illustrated. Here we go. Go back. Don't ruin the moment. Go back. I want to destroy you with proper visual. So you can see mirroring. And you can see how the boat disappears. Oh, what a wanker. You're a wanker.
We're looking at it.
Play the evidence.
Yeah, again, I can't play the entire thing because Phuket Word will try and copyright strike me.
It's only 5 minutes. I listened to your bullshit for half an hour.
It's 11 minutes. It's 11 minutes.
And watch how things disappear from the bottom down. Bottom up. Just watch.
Yeah. So where was the mirroring on the thing I showed you?
Just watch. I pointed it out to you. You
didn't.
Too far up your ass to bother. Just watch how this ship disappears. Nothing to do with curve. Everything to do with vanishing point at the horizon line and mirroring. Just watch
Nothing
it.
about vanishing point says it should disappear bottom up, though. You're lying.
Just watch it. That's bullshit. Learn your science.
Science doesn't say that. Science doesn't say that. Tony, you don't know what science is. Tony, you haven't the first word. You haven't the first clue about science.
Craig, you're just coming across desperate. Just let the clip play.
Says the man that completely ignored all my evidence and cried.
You see the mirroring? Watch the mirroring and watch out. Oh, fuck's sake. Watch
you see it?
You're just getting hammered. The more you open your mouth, you're getting hammered.
Yeah, and now it's lovely disappearing over the curve. Lovely.
You loser.
Thank you for showing me evidence of something disappearing over the curve.
Look at the mirroring.
Tony, projection. Tony, the projection is strong with you. Tony, the projection is strong with you. What's it like to never have anyone that's loved you that you have to call everyone else a loser?
Oh, Craig, you're a wanker. You're a fucking loser.
Says the guy that's calling people names.
Yeah, you can't handle losing, so you turn to personal attacks.
You're the one that's turned to personal attacks by calling me a loser, you moron.
You are. You're a loser.
Well, I haven't lost this debate, so I'm not a loser.
Oh, you've lost. You've been hammered.
Says the guy that doesn't know. You don't even know what. I showed.
Hey, where does the sun rise from?
I showed you how the crux observation
where does the
works
sun rise
on.
from?
I showed you how the observation works.
I haven't even started destroying your Earth.
Everything you show, I will show on the model that shows that it's correct.
Well done. Does that make you sleep well at night?
Well, it shows that I'm correct. So.
It shows that you're totally deluded.
So.
Look at the desperation that got into your voice
Puppy kicker,
the moment you got owned.
Dude, you really need to calm down and stop projecting so hard.
I'm very calm. Any calmer, I'd be dead.
Please stop projecting your insecurities onto others.
Craig,
that would be fantastic.
Craig, you think I haven't heard that bullshit before?
Puppy kicker, not 5110 Nokia's FTFE versus PDF Tony. Yeah, that's what he is.
Okay,
he doesn't understand the science.
Are we finished?
You're welcome to hang around.
Listen,
Tony, after that destruction, you may need to go and get in an ice bath after the burns that you've had. So,
well done.
Marek
well
Zeonts for $5 PlayStation Network dollars. 3-1 for $5 says Felix Bominger, who made the Red Bull jump, said he saw curvature, so it doesn't matter what Neil deGrasse Tyson said. Well, I'm going to read the super chats.
Give me a courtesy of saying goodbye to you.
Yeah, sure. Let me read the super chats, and then you're welcome to.
No. I'm not interested in the chat. Let me just say this.
Yeah, so I'll read the super chats, and then you're welcome to.
You got destroyed on gravity.
So Foka Persia Pakashi for $2 says 3 words. Flerf reference fucking frames.
On the sphere Earth.
And you might have been watching a different debate. You may have been watching a different debate. You may have been watching a different thing.
I've got to go. It's midday here. I've got things to do. Okay.
Yeah,
that's cool. With your people.
Run away after your destruction, Tony. Run away after your destruction.
I'll leave you to badmouth me. I'll leave you to badmouth me with your followers.
Yep. Okay? Run away with your destruction. I hope you enjoy getting ruined. Thank you.
Craig, thank you very much for your time.
No worries, Tony. And you.
I did enjoy it till you became a fuckwit, but I didn't.
Oh, come on. It's all fun. It's all fun.
It is all fun, buddy. But we could have agreed to disagree and walk away. You didn't have to make out that I'm deluded and stuff. That's all. All right,
I don't agree though. So yeah.
Let's do this again.
Yeah, and I'll bring an extra in refraction. Okay.
Mate, you can bring whoever you want, but okay, let's do this again. But I like it next time to be on gravity. Yeah, real full-on gravity.
Yeah, cool. Because, like I said, I've done experiments to show that gravity is real.
Bring PhD Tony on. I really like him. He's good.
Absolutely.
We can nut it out.
Absolutely.
But listen, forget the name calling. Don't be such a fucking snowflake. We can give each other a bit of a hard time and then leave and say
no one's been a snowflake here, Tony.
All right, well, that's all right. I can call you a fuckwit. You can call me deluded. We can do whatever and shake hands and do this again next time, all right?
Yeah, one of us will be right, though.
Hey,
right, take it easy.
But, you want to get another cheap shot in? Go. Get another cheap shot in. Listen,
I don't need the
let's
cheap
do it
ones.
again. Listen, let's do it again in a couple of Saturdays or something, all right?
Roger that. Absolutely.
It really was a pleasure. It really was a pleasure, Craig. And it's okay for it to get heated.
All right, you have a nice day on the bottom of our rotating globe over there.
Good on you, champion.
Catch you later.
Good one. All the best.
Fogo Persia Pakashi, $2. 3 words, Flerf. Reference fucking frames. Awesomeo, $4.99 says, thanks for the amazing content, FTFE. No, from the bottom of my fucking heart, thank you guys for watching what I do. It's mind-blowing that I still get like this much support. Like there were 700 of you watching at one point. I can't even words. So much support. I mean, wow, massive amount of super chats. It's amazing. But I know not everyone is able to support me financially. So one of the best ways to help do it, support me, is to share what I do on Facebook or YouTube. MC Toon, are you still about? If Toon's about, I'll bring him on for a little bit of a chat. Tommy Gronville, 50 Nokias. Felix Bonger saw the curvature. Yes, he did. Toon's busy, so he can't come. Never mind. Ben Kettle for 10 Australian dollars. Thank you very much. Ask Tony if he's going to live up to his word and give up Flat Earth if the sun rises south of east in Sydney, Australia in December, as he promised MC Toon he would in his first debate. Ooh, that's interesting. Although Flerfs don't keep their word. Bill McGuire, $5. Do we feel a tilt? Is the dumbest question ever asked. Yeah, I never really got to that. Do we feel a tilt? Fuck's sake. Connell Silver for $5. You need to start challenging flat earthers to define eye level when they use the Neil deGrasse Tyson fallacy. For that matter, get them to describe air. Fogo Persia Pakashi for $5. Science, since Alison isn't here, Flerf, why is all navigation based on the globe? We pilots all use a formula that includes curvature. Are we all liars? Well, obviously you fucking are. P Barnes, $10 Australian. Tony, you remarked on the lengths they went to show curvature in the Red Bull jump. Who are they? What are their goals? And what's the best brand of tinfoil to protect my thoughts from them? Fulcrum Persia Pakashi for $5 says, no Flerf, you will keep using tangential velocity because it's the only way you have an argument. At least pretend to be honest. Repeat argument, negative 10 points. Indie Tiger for $5. Tony, ships in the ocean make predicted course corrections to follow the curve of the Earth. If the Earth were flat, you wouldn't need to do that. Yeah, personally calculated them. Cinema Control, $5. He's debunking the heliocentric model by removing gravity from the model. That's the dictionary straw man. I know. Yeah, it's a force, but I can't tell you what the force is. The force is just there because mass and acceleration. No. For 3 Ron for $2, this Flerf is quite the pseudo-intellectual. Don't be mean to pseudo-intellectuals. Osimo, $4.99. No. The main Flerf argument. Huge Arse, $5. Why do idiots who so obviously know nothing about what they're talking about presume to lecture physics to people who spent years studying physics? Dunning-fucking-Kruger. Connell Silver for $5. FTFE. I did the experiment to confirm gravity. Flerf. But my article. Yeah. Anybody who has studied physics at the college level would have done the Cavendish experiment themselves. Every one of us. Alison, $2 Australian. Why is all navigation based on the globe? Because it's a fucking globe. Connell Silver for $2. You can't be smart ass when you're a dumbass. Fogo Persia Pakashi for $2. Explain the hammer and feather on the moon, Flerf. He would say they never went to the moon. You know that. Jameson 123451. I guess Jameson was taken. Jameson, what happened to Jameson 1212340? Did you kill them? 3 decimal places, the same accuracy needed to discover Tony's IQ. Oofed. That's a lot of damage. Alison, $2, says, can't measure if you ignore all measurements. Then we got a new fucking member. Oh my god. Wind Cooler, welcome to Scrappers. Fogo Persia Pakashi, $5. Flerf, look up induced and parasitic drag. Torpedoes your whole argument. Your inability to understand reality is not evidence against it. Negative 10 points. He's now got negative 20. That's not good. Pivot Croy for €5. €5 to get some paracetamol. You must have a headache by now because of Tony rambling. Never heard someone so wrong about everything. Have you not heard of JM Truth? Anthony Riley? I mean, there's so much. So much. Brainy Beaver, you fucking awesome possum you, for $2 Canadian says, riddle, when does drag become an attractive force? Fogo Persia Pakashi, $2. Where's my facepalm pillow? I'm getting a headache. Yeah, they're going on sale soon. Standard Nerd, $2. Maybe RuPaul can explain a drag he'll understand. My wife watches those RuPaul drag races. I'll be in the background working, but like, I hear some stuff going on. I'm like, what the fuck? They're the most bitchy people in the world. It's fucking hilarious. Joseph Oakley, $1.99. No message. Thank you very much. 3 Ron for $2. Tony, show us where it says gravity doesn't exist. No, you can't do that. Angel Gamer, $5. A force is a force, of course, and no one can deny a force, of course. That is, of course, unless the Flerf is denying gravity. Yeah. Gravity. You fucking retard. Gravity. Have you ever heard of fucking gravity? Gravity! Alison, $2. Fight, ask him what gives the direction of motion. Gravity. $2 from Alison again. Earth is a globe. Tony lost before showing up. That's the case of all flat earthers. Howsoy, how you doing, dude? Haven't seen you in a while. Ask if he knows the difference between a vector and a scalar. Now explain where the vector from falling objects come from. Thank you very much. That was 50 Nokias. Philosopher King Gaming, who's been a member for 8 months, says, I know you're not making this up, Tony. I know you're reading the same script every Flerf uses and fails to fact check. That plus denial of evidence. Abso-fucking-lutely. Foco Persha Pakashi, $2, says, how the fuck does the periodic table disprove gravity? They think the atomic density and atomic weights disprove gravity. Sleeping Warrior covered that. It's fucking hilarious. Draco Fire, my youngest member, who's been a member for 14 months, so he must have joined when he was like 10 or something. Tony, this is rather pathetic. Talking fast doesn't make you sound smarter, and neither does talking confidently. That's like my entire thing. What are you on about? What a sad, sad man you are. Ricky, come here. Come here, Dave. Ricky Hewitt for £2. It's always the same crap, different day. Yeah, welcome to my life. Fogger Persha Pakashi, $2. Tony, you're a denialist. That's all you are. And another new fucking member, Ricky Hewitt, you amazing person, you. Fogger Persha Pakashi, $2. Flerf, what was the guy a professor of? Tankery? Fucking hell, there's so many super chats. I'm never going to go to bed if you keep sending these super chats. It blows my fucking mind. Thank you. Area 85 Restorations for $5 says, I'm an engineer that designs and builds rockets for a living. Rockets don't need something to push off. Your professor is full of crap. Same old fucking argument. They don't understand. Scott Stafford for $4.99 says, do you wear bra, Tony? That's a bit mean. Don't know why. Aggressor for $5 Australian. What? So only Tony is allowed to laugh? This guy is an absolute flog. Laughs at what is said, then gets offended when anyone else laughs. But I can't help but fucking laugh. Then we got Scott Strafford for $4.99 says, nice oobs, Tony. Oh, come on. We've all had the man boobs. I worked hard. Well, I just stopped eating really to get rid of mine. New member upgrade. Ricky Hewitt has upgraded to Brawlers. Thank you very much. Indie Tiger for $10 says, oh, apparently there's a new challenger. Is that a Flerf in the chat that wants to debate me? Oh, Kenny Honrickson. Kenny, please email me at fighttheflatearth@gmail.com and we'll arrange a time to get you on. Could do it this weekend if you like. Indie Tiger for $10 says, in celestial navigation there's a point in the sky called the first point of Aries. 2,000 years ago, it was the constellation of Aries. Today it's not, because the Earth is moving. Yeah. 3rd century sailor described the point of rotation of the North Stars as devoid of light. Tig Diggy, $4.99. Thank you very much. No message. Yeah, well, yeah. If he wants to debate, just Kenny, fight the flat earth at gmail.com. Then we got My Dennis 787B for 38 Hong Kong dollars. Thank you. He has learned nothing from MC2. Just he's learned nothing. Could have stopped there. 3-1, $2. Hey Flerf, why can't I see Orion all year long? Globe. Fogapesha Pakashi for $5. You've heard it all before, yet still don't understand. That says a lot about you, Flerf. You're just an idiot who's a tiny ego and needs to feel big. Fogapesha Pakashi for $2. So to get that feeling, you made a fantasy. Yep. Andrew Smith, $5. It's getting dark here. Perfect to watch the glow of this dumpster fire. They saw that from the ISS. Connell Silverhair for $2. Tony, you're so rude. You do Nate Thompson proud. Apparently Nate Thompson is debating right now. I'm going to pop over afterwards and see how that's going. Rachel O'Daniels for 10 Australian dollars. Does he not think we can see the night from the other side? I'm dying. Yeah, looking down. Frogger Pakashi, $2. The triggered little Flerf is projecting so hard. Flosser King Gaming for $2. I call Poe, getting Mallory's dad vibes here. No, he's genuine. He's absolutely genuine. Stephen York for $10. Tony, you overtalked MC Toon constantly and act like a total maggot, like you're doing now. You get muted because you refuse to let people get their points out. Fuck YouTube for $5. He doesn't want this to deteriorate. He doesn't know how debates work on FTFE's channel. I tried to be calm, but I like the fires. Kirk B, $2. FTFE, good wishes to you and your family. You too, sir. You too. Focal Pairship Akashi, $5 message retracted. Thank you very much. Steve, 1758, $4.99. Tony, even D Marble, Jism, and the Morgal gave up on your arguments years ago to try and keep up. Do try to keep up on the Flat Earth BS. P Barnes for $10 Australian. Rip, today we mourn Refraction, loving father of perspective, mercilessly nutted into oblivion by the ramblings of an arrogant fool. Gravestone. Fogger Persia Bakashi for $5. YouTube stole $3 from my last super chat. Annoying, but fuck YouTube. Anyway, Tony needs to go apologise to a tree for wasting the oxygen it made. Poor trees, they work so hard. Peter Carson for $5 Australian dollars. I live in Moreton Bay and can tell you there is a 2 degrees Celsius change from here to Brisbane right now and on most days. Debunks one of his arguments. Fuck YouTube, $5. How can FTFE insult your intelligence when you don't have one to insult? Oh my goodness, you've got so many. Dave, shush. Fuck yeah. Fog Repair Ship Akashi for $2. Poor Tony has had his fantasy wrecked by reality. Always the case. Pentalica, $5. Look up Refraction. Seeing over the curve of my driveway. The best refraction demonstration I've ever seen. That sounds like a good one. Fog Repair Ship Akashi for $2. Tony, the hole you've been digging is at the Shire. And then another new member, Earth is Life. Thank you very much. Seema, $4.99. Tony, stop shooting up your Adderall. Most of your brain has rotted away. Eon Dust for $5 says, I miss the sexy Tony, the one with the PhD. He'll be back soon, trust me. Come here, Dave. Come on. Come here. Come on. Fine, screw you then. Magellan for $5 Sega Genesis dollars. Tony, these surfaces are intentionally not flat, so rainwater doesn't pool, Tony. Robeeb for $2. Tony Naoum is so deluded. Take a nap, dummy. Fogger Pairship Akashi for $2. Don't act like a child. Man-child Tony 2021. Robeeb $5. Naoum never went to high school. I saw him in every classroom. He was a projector. Kirk B for $2. Winner and all-time champ. FTFE. Fogger Pairship Akashi $2. Please ban him. His arrogance is simply unbearable. Come here then. Say hello, Dave. Go on. Yeah, is that right? You want to read the super chats? Where are you going? Say hello. Go on. Wind Caller for $5 Canadian says, Tony, stop crying and actually listen for 5 seconds. Maybe you'll learn something, but we all know you just keep denying. It's hilarious. This is Dave, guys, if you haven't met him before. Dave the Destroyer. He's been decimating the local bird population. Alison for $2 Australian says, my question became tradition. I love this community. Yes, it has. Debate Shorties for $5. I had to give my 16-year-old daughter facepalm protection. She can't believe there are people this stupid out there. She was here voluntarily, by the way. That's just mean parenting. What are you doing? Dave D for $5 Australian. Let's face it, he enjoys being owned. Spanking is over. Time to pull your pants up and go to bed. Geza, the random reviewer, who's been a member for 8 months, says, glad to see you back. Hope you're feeling better. Thank you very much, guys. I am much better. And last super chat, Connell Silverfur for $2 says, more Dave, less Flerfs. Dave would just run the channel on his own. I've had fun tonight. Amazing, incredible, ridiculous amount of support in the super chats and people watching. And honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I can never thank you guys enough. I might be back this weekend with another debate with whoever that was in the chat that seems to be challenging me. And tomorrow I should be releasing my new episode of Flerfs Are Idiots. In the meantime, remember, stupidity is not a right. Fight the flat earth. Fight the flat, 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 fight the flat.
3,